A riddle for you. What is both a standalone game and an expansion playable with all previous versions of that game? Fools! It's the Red Dragon in 10!
That's right, Slugfest Games presents The Red Dragon Inn 10, a new standalone expansion to the Red Dragon Inn, now on Kickstarter. Like each previous version, 10 is a card game all about a group of dungeon crawlers heading to the tavern to see who's left standing at the end of the night.
So I says to the goblin, show me your component pouch first.
Version 10 can be played all by itself with up to 6 players, or you could mix and match characters from any Red Dragon Inn game or expansion. This edition will have 6 new characters, including Dominique the Resourceful and Trap Master Alaric, along with new drinks and prizes. It is a fully stretched Kickstarter campaign, so plenty of characters and content will be revealed throughout, including content that won't be in the retail version of the game.
Just like how I won't be sharing my health potions. Deal with it, sucker.
To see all the details and get your hands on a copy, head on over to slugfestgames.com/getrdi10 and check out the Red Dragon Inn 10 today.
Now I wonder what that verbal spell component does. slugfestgames.com/getrdi10. Oh no! It's making me have fun with my friends!
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rewind, episode number 32 for Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. I am Marty Sleven, as always, joined by Darren Mooney, Jack Packard, and producers, Eric and Jesse.
Producers, Marty.
Producers, Eric and Jesse, and we got ourselves a humdinger today. We're going to talk a little bit about everyone's favorite film of the week, Ghost of Yote.
Of course.
We're going to talk about other stuff we've been watching. Jack has a little exercise for us planned in terms of what we would show at a Halloween party. But also, Jack,
what?
We're next to each other.
It's really, really weird because Marty and I are next to each other.
It's very weird. So if you notice us doing this, it's because that's how we're doing it. Eric refused to put us on the same camera. Look at that. It's us.
Look at this. It's so weird.
I mean, it's amazing. And Darren's just on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
So, Darren, how are you doing? Well, welcome. We miss you.
Great. I can just wave to you guys over there. Would you mind passing me some sort of beverage down here, please? We should rehearse some bits for this.
We should have had some bits.
Oh, like handing a cup of water. We both get.
No, he just had a flood in his office.
Oh,
he doesn't want to talk about water.
Thanks, Jack. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Jack. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, as you may or may not be aware, the Adventurous Night crew is not currently, but this week is filming Adventurous Night Season 5 live here in Milwaukee, and I obviously just live like 90 minutes down the road, so I've come in to film stuff like this, and we have, next week we'll do an episode of The Windbreaker. On Thursday we'll do an episode of Firelink. We have a couple fun streams planned, a Phoenix tier hangout for the weekend, so
a very special Phoenix tier.
Yes.
Extravaganza that we're planning.
Yeah. But Darren, how are you? We missed you last week, but with Jesse we had a wonderful conversation about One Battle After Another.
Oh yeah.
Still pretty good movie, right?
Yeah, shockingly pretty good movie. I do kind of feel a little miffed that it's like I kind of skipped that one. That's the one that Darren's not on, because I'm like, you know what? I could take a breather on that one. But I didn't. The problem was that we had the premiere lining up of, I think it was Black Phone 2, which
That's
is
right. Yeah.
fine.
So I didn't see the movie, but reading your column earlier this week when I posted it made me want to see Black Phone 2, just because it sounds weird. It does sound a little bit like Nightmare on Elm Street, which is something we're going to be talking about.
That's what it looked like
later.
The previews made it look like, because I know Black Phone 1 had very little to no kind of supernatural killer element, and so it's very strange that they're like, fuck it, we're doing Nightmare on Elm Street.
Fuck it, we got the Grabber coming back. Darren, you big fan of the Grabber?
But like, again, very much feels like a grassroots AstroTurf campaign to make a like new Hollywood icon that Universal own. Where it's like, what's his name? The Grabber. What's he do? He grabs people. Like it's
Grabs, kills
it's
kids.
very
Fine.
self-explanatory premise there. And
Yeah.
again, not to jump into spoilers for The Black Phone, the Scott Derrickson movie, which is pretty good. Like a lot of Scott Derrickson movies, it's not amazing. It's not going to blow your mind, but it is a well-made horror film by somebody who likes making horror films. But
Yeah.
the end of that movie is pretty definitive, where it's like it doesn't end with a bit of text on a black background saying the grabber will return. And so to a certain extent, there is like a how do you make a sequel to The Black Phone? And as you say, Nightmare on Elm Street kind of presents itself as one of the only workable alternatives to that. But it is like I have my issues with it, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later on. We talk about what we watched and all this sort of stuff. But like, I do admire that it's genuinely trying stuff. It is not just doing, with all due respect to the Friday the 13th franchise, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
It is trying to be about things, and it is clearly a labor of love. You mentioned Friday the 13th, which is a very heavy influence on it, like right down to the like killer being burnt and scarred and murdering children. But also, it is a camp movie like the Friday the 13th movies, in that it is literally set at a camp. It's drawing very heavily from like The Shining and like Slumber Camp Massacre and all this sort of stuff. It is clearly like a labor of love for horror cinema as a whole. And like, while it doesn't work for me, I'm watching it going, I'm kind of thrilled that rather than following the path of least resistance, you tried something. Like you tried something that clearly you liked and you thought about and you wanted to do. And I'm like, that is much more interesting to me than, was it the Strangers Chapter 2?
Yeah. What's going on there?
Do
Also,
we need an origin story for Is Tamara Home? And does that origin story need to be 3 movies long? The answer is yes.
Also, I don't know if you read the Puck newsletter, but the reason Scott Derrickson left Multiverse of Madness was because he was insistent that the Grabber be the main villain in the film. He said, I don't want Wanda being the villain in the Multiverse of Madness. I want the Grabber to fight Doctor Strange. And they said no.
And it is very telling that one of the things Wanda does in that movie is literally grab children. I mean, it was right there the whole time.
Wow.
Raimi's like, you know what? I'm going to keep this Grabber coming through here. Did you see the trailer for the new Raimi movie with Rachel McAdams landing on it's like Lost, except it's so it's a shitty boss of a company. And Rachel McAdams,
Lost. Yeah.
Rachel McAdams works for him, and he's awful to her. And they're on a jet, and the jet crashes on an island, and they're the only 2 survivors. And he's like injured; he got like something stabbed, and it almost like turns into Misery, where like she's taking care of him, but being able to like get revenge on her shitty boss. It's a Sam Raimi movie.
Wonderful,
and it's coming out in January, which is the best month for garbage movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, she's discovered that she is like innately talented at like the savagery of nature as well.
That's how it works. That's how it works. Before we get into our chat about Ghost of Yotai and our Halloween recos, I wanted to read a couple super chats. Of course, so great to see so many familiar faces in the YouTube chat, members of the Green Gang, our patrons. A couple super chats that came in. Just a casual spectator with $10 down. Oh, and apologies again. YouTube did that thing where it's like changed people's some usernames, I believe, on like weird handles. So apologies
to just a casual spectator 6261.
Yeah, just a very normal name.
Whatever your real
with a $10 dono. Oh, great. Nostradamus, Darren Mooney. Do you think Nolan will ever keep the mythical aspects of the Odyssey or make it more grounded like the Dark Knight trilogy? Thank you all for making dark days brighter. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, Darren, as a Nolan scholar, I guess I'll say, what do you think his approach to the Odyssey might be?
I do love, by the way, that it's Nostradamus. I do appreciate a bit of wordplay.
Nostradamus. I thought that was a typo. Fuck.
I honestly, there's, again, not to get into spoilers, there's been sight of like puppets and stuff like that. So like there will be an element of like the Cyclops or the Minotaur or whatever being realized in a way that uses kind of puppet effects. So there have been glimpses of that. That's not like me looking into the future and spoiling. I don't imagine you'll see a lot of CGI. It's not going to look like Zack Snyder's 300. I do imagine it will look relatively grounded, but I do also kind of on the other hand go, this is a man who recreated a nuclear bomb on film. I feel like if he's adapting the Odyssey, he can do the Cyclops or he can do the Sirens.
Yeah.
And
I actually found a Medusa. I found a woman with a bunch of snakes in her hair and I cast her in the movie.
Anne Hathaway had the surgical procedure. It was
Yeah.
very complicated, but we admire that she was committed to the role. I mean, I do think that like that is probably a large part of the appeal of this, where like, again, not to indulge in the Darren is the big Nolan fan on the podcast thing, a large part of what Nolan tends to do is to motivate to push himself into areas where he's not entirely comfortable. So like there is a point around like The Dark Knight where he's like, I have like mastered Hollywood. I have like done what I set out to do. I know how to make a blockbuster. And like with The Dark Knight, it's like finally I figured out how to make the holy grail of Nolan movies a linear blockbuster. A blockbuster that unfolds from beginning to end without any temporal shenanigans in the middle. There is no more world for me to conquer. So like all of his movies after that are kind of like reacting to things that he is criticized for or that he is not known for doing. So Inception becomes a movie that is, man, I really am obsessed with dead wives, aren't I? And that's kind of a problem, is the text of Inception. After Inception, you have like The Dark Knight Rises, which is can I make a big, dumb superhero, like proper bombastic blockbuster with a blank check. After that, you have Interstellar, which is people say I'm not good at emotion. I'll show them. Then you have like Dunkirk, which is people say my movies are full of exposition and people explaining things. And it's like, watch me make a movie where nobody explains anything at all. Then you get to Tenet, which is also like, what if I made Inception, but nobody explained anything at all? And there is this, if you look at his filmography, there is this constant sense of, can I push in a particular direction that I haven't gone before? Just a little bit. Like he's not gonna direct a slasher movie. He's not gonna turn around and say my next project is a Will Ferrell comedy, for Warner Brothers or rated or whatever.
Or a helicopter movie. As much as we wanted.
Make Blue Thunder.
Blue Thunder. We wanted the helicopter movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, you say that, but his version of Blue Thunder would include a scene where they're like, they call the person who invented the Death Copter the Oppenheimer of their time. And it would be a biting social commentary on nuclear proliferation. But I do think that, like, obviously the Odyssey appeals to Nolan because he is a director and writer who is very interested in stories and storytelling. That is one of his key thematic concerns. And the Odyssey is one of the first written narratives that existed. It is one of the stories of stories. So why not do that? But I do also think there's a certain appeal of, I've done my big studio biopic. I've won my Oscar. Can I go to somewhere where people don't think I can go, which is like a big fantasy? I don't imagine it's going to look like a Harryhausen movie. I don't imagine it's going to look like, again, we mentioned 300, but I also imagine that it will include stuff that will like not have fit in with like the Dark Knight movie or Interstellar, or
the trope with Nolan is like, is he going to find a way to justify in realistic terms why the Cyclops is the Cyclops?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like a Catwoman's ears being part of her motorcycle helmet, or bullshit like that.
Why Bats Master Wayne? And he's like, well, here's a 2.5-hour movie that will explain that in graphic detail. Like,
here's my dissertation on why Catwoman, a hot lady, needs high heels practically.
As opposed to Tim Burton, which is just like, I'm kind of freaky.
She has a whip. Don't women come with whips? Isn't that what normally happens?
No, but like, she has a whip because that's my fetish.
Yeah. Like he explains the scallops. One of my favorite things about Batman Begins is like he looked at the Batman costume. He's like, why does he have the pointy things coming out of his arms? Like, well, maybe one time he was about to fall off like Mount Everest and he needed to stop himself, and that's why. Because he was like, never again. Yeah.
He treats the Batman costume like Slumdog Millionaire, where like there needs to be an origin for every aspect
single
of it.
thing. Yeah.
One time I pissed myself because I couldn't get the suit off, so that's why it's detachable from the waist down. Do you think Batman pisses in a suit, Darren? Or do you think he's got like what's it called, a still suit, like Timothy Chalamet in Dune?
Sure.
Where it recycles the water. That's why Catwoman looks so uncomfortable when she's flying around in like the bat with him in Dark Knight Rises.
It smells like shit. It smells like a dude's been sitting in his shit for days.
And he's like, "You want to chug a lug?" But I mean, I do think that it's a bit like as a Star Trek. Jack mentioned he is watching Deep Space Nine, or he will be watching Deep Space Nine in the future. Like, this is one of the things you don't need to explain in media, where Star Trek Enterprise, the 5th Star Trek TV show and the prequel show, has an entire episode where he's like, where like one of the guys is pinned to the hull and he's like, I really need to go to the bathroom. And they have Archer explain, oh, you could just go in your suit and it'll recycle it. And it's like, why did he need to say that out loud then? If that is the case, if that is what happens, why did you need to explain the mechanics of it to him in this situation?
Because it would be way weirder if someone was trapped on the hull and they go, hold on, I gotta piss. Done. And no one said anything.
Yeah.
See, yes, this is real hard-hitting journalism
Tough
here.
questions. Yeah.
A couple more super chats. Nick Warden, thank you so much for the $10 dono. Can't watch live today, but just wanted to shout out Darren for always responding in the YouTube comments on The Backdrop. Darren, your episode, obviously The Backdrop's been firing off on all cylinders lately. You, Omar, Jesse, always putting together bangers, even if the subject matter isn't a banger, like this week's episode with Tron Ares.
You didn't like Tron Ares, no?
I did not. No, I'm going to shock you. I kind of hated it. Only
kind of. I was like, but that lead guy, he's got a lot of charisma, and I want to see where his career goes.
Yeah.
That was everything else I hated.
Played the Joker, right?
Yeah.
Covered himself with knives.
I mean, what if he was some sort of like vampire in a world that was related to, but not directly in conversation with a Spider-Man movie? That would be like the perfect place for him. And he had an Oscar.
When you said a vampire, I was like, what movie was that? And then I was like, oh yeah, he was Morbius.
There was a whole thing.
Remember? And then it came back?
Yeah.
That was the saddest moment where the head of Sony is like, we're going to make our money back. And everyone's like, no, we just want to make fun of it. We don't want to watch it.
The fact that studios didn't learn their lessons after its Morbin time is the most, like, you know, like we can understand that, like, you know, studios are big corporations. They're slow to move. They're a little out of touch with reality. But after the incredible double flop of Morbius, the fact that Jared Leto still gets work is shocking.
Especially the double flop in an era where movies are being re-released and tend to do really well at the box office. But it's like beloved. It's like Phantom Menace for the 25th anniversary or stuff like that, where it's not like the shitty movie from 6 months. It'd be like releasing Tron Ares again in theaters for Christmas. Everybody'd be like, why did you do this?
I love that you were like, comparing it to movies that are like 40 or 50 years old.
Yeah.
The audience has not had a chance to see. Instead, it was like, imagine if you were just like, you know, 12 years old and 6 months when Morbius came out, and you couldn't get a parent to take you. Well, now is your chance to get in on the ground floor. But yeah, and shout out to, obviously, to Nick. Well, first of all, to Nick, to Jesse, to Omar for like supporting the Backdrop. But like the thing about replying in the YouTube comments that Nick mentions there is that like it's a good community, and Nick and Eric and everybody who like moderate it, they're the people who are in the trenches. They're the people who are actually doing the hard work. Because generally when the comments are there, even if they're like negative and even if they're critical, they're engageable in a sense that, like, you know, I've been in some YouTube comments and not really very constructive environments, but I think the YouTube comments here are well maintained, and like so it is fun to engage and go back and forth.
Yeah, agreed. Joffrey of Monmouth, thank you so much for a $10 donor. The Backdrop today resonated with me a lot. The blockbusters I think back on most fondly over the past decade have been more ensemble pieces like Arrival, Annihilation, Fury Road, Dune, etc. Yeah, I mean, those are like the highest of highbrow blockbusters, I would say. I mean, it's part because two of them are Denis Villeneuve movies. You know, you have a yeah, I mean, that's literally like three of our best working directors are right there. So yeah, that checks out. That's not like we got a Russo brother and a Duffer brother. And
I mean, again, not to get into spoiler discussion for a movie I'm embargoed and can't talk about, but I did rewatch like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and it's so wild when you like nowadays you're like, okay, obviously every George Miller movie is special, and obviously every Denis Villeneuve movie is special. But every once in a while, it's somebody like Curtis Hanson who goes from like making The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, which is perfectly fine as like 90s erotic thriller goes. He's like, okay, now hold my beer. I'm gonna make like LA Confidential, one of the greatest movies in American cinema. It's like I kind of like when a director pulls that out, when it's like, you know what? I could do B-grade schlock, but I could also produce an American masterpiece.
I'm genuinely racking my brain trying to think of what movie you're trying not to spoil that you may have seen. Did they remake The Hand That Rocks the Cradle?
They remade The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and it's releasing on Disney Plus tomorrow.
That can't be a real movie. That has to be fake.
It is. It stars, and this is I can say because it's not embargoed. It's of public knowledge. Micah Monroe is the nanny, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead is the mummy
from Longlegs and
The Guest, and like
and It Follows. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's great.
She's great,
okay.
and Mary Elizabeth Winstead's also like great.
I love her.
Really
She's
talented
great.
cast,
Yeah.
and the guy who's Martin Starr is in there as well, and Ricky Lindholm's in there. Like it's a really interesting cast.
Okay.
I cannot.
And then we won't say anything more because of embargo.
I just know I did not know this movie exists, but it seems like if you're going to remake The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, releasing it straight to Disney Plus is clearly the move.
Apparently, yeah. Because it's like
perfect sense.
like family entertainment
Yeah.
needs a Hand That Rocks the Cradle remake.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When I think of my like borderline softcore erotic thrillers,
Yeah.
I also want them next to my Pixar films and my
course.
Disney animated shorts.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like you want the kids hopping from Bluey to this movie about a nanny who moves in. It's a wholesome movie about a nanny who moves in and makes a family's life much better.
Yeah.
It's the Mary Poppins of our generation.
It is truly the Mary Poppins of our generation.
And Eric found photographic evidence that the movie exists. That's good. That I didn't hallucinate it.
You know what? All of our grandparents are getting tricked by AI, so for all I know, that was AI.
Yeah,
There's no way to know. One more super chat, which will lead us perfectly into our next topic. B. Smalley, thank you so much for a $2 dono. How are you enjoying Ghost of Yote, Darren? What a perfect transition to our first topic, and we'll get to the rest of the super chats later. Ghost of Yote, the big new PlayStation game sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, came out a couple weeks ago. Obviously, Jack and I have been playing it. We're both fans of the original, but Darren, because you said you had like a bit of a lull in your schedule, and because you have a PS5, you decided to take a little dip in it. Is that right?
That's it, pretty much. I mean, it is very much having a gap in my schedule. There being a game that is released that is getting good reviews that people I know are like and enjoy. There's a really great video essay on the channel about it as well, which is quite literally what I was thinking as I was playing it. The idea of a game that encourages you to stop and smell the roses. So I figured that it was worth a go because, as you mentioned, I had a lull in my schedule where I think 2 weeks ago it was like a nice quiet week because I'd seen all the TV shows. There, you had a bunch of shows winding down and a bunch of shows yet to start. You had like a bunch of movies that had been released were kind of in the drag season. I had to take time out to see Tron Ares, but sacrifices need to be made. So I was like, let me play a video game because obviously I work at a video game website. I should occasionally understand how these concepts work. And I will say, I'm having like a great time. I'm always nervous when I talk about like playing video games, that kind of boss baby mode where it's like guy whose first movie was Boss Baby watching his second movie going, getting a lot of Boss Baby vibes for this movie. But like this taps into something kind of, I remember, I think we talked about this before, Marty, when you played GoldenEye, the bit where I had to explain how to play GoldenEye to you.
No need to bring that up. I don't know why that got brought up.
A sense memory of like playing GoldenEye on the N64 when I was a kid. And obviously Zelda was like a touchstone, Ocarina of Time or like Majora's Mask. Those are like touchstone video games for me that I think about when I think about like my childhood, and games that I think about like as I was a teenager, like redefining what video gaming was, where it was different from the SNES games. It was different from the video games on your like Game Boy or whatever. And like Ghost of Yote, this is the most simplistic way of like expressing what I like about it, but it reminds me a lot of those Zelda games. You've got the horse riding dynamic, you've got the huge open space, you've got the RPG elements, you've got the fact that you can choose your own quests in time, you've got all the collectibles, everything like that. And it is just like really perfectly balanced for that. It is a game that I just really enjoy playing, and to that point, really enjoy like taking my time through, moving through the space of it. Again, I'm not like, this is a thing you need to listen to Jermaine talk about this stuff. He's much better at it. But like things as simple as the design of this, where I believe like the space of this is about the same size as the map in, is it Shima? Ghost of Shima?
Tsushima.
Tsushima, apologies. Also, not great at Japanese. Video games and Japanese, my 2 weak spots.
Oh, no.
They'll never come up together, though. That's okay. They'll never be in the same conversation. But the use of space in this map, where the terrain is massively varied, where the size of the plane gets larger and smaller, and where you have like things like the mountain in the distance to give you a constant sense of scale, it's very good at like creating a sense of a world and like the joy of navigating the world, where like you can fast travel through it. And obviously, if you're very plot oriented or kind of like, task oriented, you can just hop from one place to another. But there is just something very relaxing and very soothing about like riding through the wilderness of this game. It is quite meditative. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And again, I have no frame of reference for it. I have no point of comparison. Maybe all video games are as good as this video game. I don't know. But I had a really good time with it.
I mean, I know you're kind of goofing, but I think you're selling yourself short, because I think this game, along with most of Sony's flock of first-party games, are so filmic in their inspirations. Like right from the get-go, you see the Kurosawa inspirations, you see the Western revenge film inspiration.
Kill Bill, she's wearing a yellow kimono and carrying a samurai sword.
Yeah, you're literally just crossing names off a list as you kill them. So I do think of these, and I know, Darren, you've played like The Last of Us, you played Spider-Man, right?
Yes, I played the
recent
2 Spider-Mans or the 3.5 Spider-Mans.
Yeah, and I would say those
Spider-Man
Sony first party games are,
Yeah.
Yahtzee tends to bemoan them because he's like, they're just interactive movies, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people kind of want. Like,
But there's so much more. I was a huge fan of Tsushima. It's one of the very few games that I 100%ed. I got all the hot springs. I saw all the butts.
many butts.
I saw down all of the bamboo. I did everything because I loved that world, and I think Yotai is doing another great job of, like Darren said, it is the perfect game to just fuck around in, where it does a really great job of giving you signals within the world and within the camera, like, oh, there is a thing over there if you want to go over there. There's not going to be a map or a little arrow over it, but that, oh, if I see a floating kite, I can go over there and learn a tune.
Yeah, or a plume of smoke, or, oh, there's a fox I can follow.
Or
Where's
there's
he
a
going?
bird, or the music
yeah.
changed, or the camera just to show me a bear charging at me for some reason. But
So many bears.
And I will say, I'm aware of video game tropes and things like yellow paint, and I'm like, yeah, the yellow paint is for this guy right here.
Yeah.
The white paint on walls that can tell me I can climb them is for this dude.
Exactly.
Listen, that's why the yellow paint exit. Like, it's easy for our audience to bemoan yellow paint because our audience tends to be people who've been playing video games for a lot of their life, and that's a primary hobby. But a lot of my, again, I use the term normie friends, and I don't mean that pejoratively because they are my friends, but they play 2 or 3 games a year, and they kind of need that because they're not as well versed in the grammar and everything of video games. But I think with this, I think the writing's really good. I think the stories, the performances, Erika Ishii as I didn't know. I know Erika as a comedian. I didn't realize they had it in them.
That's one of my several nitpicks of the game. To me, it's not quite as good as Tsushima, and my list of nitpicks is growing daily. But something that's very personal to me is I know Erika Ishii as the head goblin of Dropout.tv. Just as a funny person, and so hearing these dramatic dialogues, sometimes I hear her goblin voice, and it's just like that.
Well, it would be like if you played the next big Sony first party game, and Jack, you were the main character. And we're like, well, he's really good, and he's these really heartfelt moments, but that's also the Jeremy Goodsex.
Exactly. So that's a very personal thing, but it's overall, I think it's a phenomenal game. I do think that some of the choices that they made mechanically are, I don't want to say bad, but like I said, overall, I'm having a great time, and I am planning on 100%ing this as well, just because the world is so wonderful to be in.
Very pretty.
But let's talk nitpicks.
Let's pick them.
Horse speed.
Too fast?
Too slow, too fast.
Too slow, too fast.
Oh.
You have slow, fast, or turbo fast. Those are your 3 speeds. I want a medium horse speed.
Yeah. When you go through those trails of white flowers, or you find a flock of horses, what's a group of horses called? A chimera of horses? A murder of horses?
I think a chimera is when you get a horse and several other animals together.
No, I was thinking, what was the horse movie called? Spirit? The horse of Chimera?
Stallion of the Cimarron.
A herd of horses.
The stallion of the
are on
neither of those are collective nouns.
A herd of horses. That's what I said right from the start. I didn't even say anything else. We didn't need Jesse to look it up and to say it several times to me until I heard it.
I like the way that you were the only person who went off on that tangent, by the way. None of us were.
I tend to dig my own grave so often. Almost every stream, I dig my own grave, and then I'm like, well, if I just dig deeper, I'll certainly get out of this predicament.
Eventually, I'll get something, right?
So, horse speed to me is it's crazy, and I don't remember it being that different. Slow versus too slow versus too fast in Tsushima. It might have been. So that to me is problematic. One of my biggest nitpicks is the. Like Darren said, like I said, I love just slowly fucking around in the game and seeing what I come across. But the number of ways that you have to discover a location is too many, because you can see it in the distance, you can see it with your spyglass, and that puts something on your map. You can talk to NPCs who give you a little map fragment. You can buy a map fragment from the map fragment guy, and when you get close, there's just a fucking bird that'll guide you right in. And so eventually, it's
this dude right here. I am the target marker. That's my tactic is just to ride along the edge of the map, and the game is like, no, No. Bad
But, like,
Darren.
to me, it is smacking me over the head with discovery, and
Sure.
I want to stumble across.
Especially
things.
if you compare it to, I mean, probably the like best in class example of that is like Breath of the Wild,
100%,
right?
yeah,
Which the Breath of the Wild is the Zelda game from 8 years ago, and that is very much the world design is so impeccable that your eye is drawn towards shapes on the horizon, or
Yeah.
you crest a hill and you see something, and it's less. This does feel like almost a well, we got the results back from the from QA testing and from like the audience, and a few of them were Darren's and they were confused. Not pejorative. I don't mean Darren's.
No,
pejorative.
no, not at
No, no,
all.
no.
I like the idea that I'm the basic video game guy. I will say to Jack's point, like I quite like that the world is so big and so vast, but you're never wanting for anything to do, which is something
Yeah.
I'm actually like very impressed with, like technically from like a how you make these things in my brain. And I guess this is a film thing where it's like the film narrative is fairly straightforward. It goes one direction. There's a start, there's a middle, there's an end, and there's an act structure. But just in terms of like, as somebody playing that game who's just like fucking around in this big open space, it's kind of incredible. I like that, to Jack's point, that I could just stumble across something happening and I'm
Yeah.
drawn into something. Like it feels really welcoming to, an idiot like me.
Oh no, and like all of those things are wonderful by themselves. Like having looking at something through a spyglass, you get this nice little like rumble feedback, like, ooh, that is something important, and it adds like a grayed out thing on your map because you haven't been there, but you saw it from a distance. And I love that. That is pure, like that's great exploration. That's using your tools, and there's a name for it where it's not. I want to say I saw it in chat, like non-diegetic UI or something like that.
Oh yeah, where it's like giving you the information based on what is in the world.
And I love that. But then because of all of the other things, it just felt like they had several accessibility ideas, and instead of choosing one and going with it, they said, let's fuck it. Oops,
Yeah.
oops, all accessibility.
Kind of like a hat on a hat.
Yeah, a little hat on a hat. But but doesn't take away from my love of the game.
And I do think we touched on it earlier. I think it's time to fun is very quick compared to some other games. Like earlier this year, the new Assassin's Creed game, Shadows, is also a shockingly similar story and structure to this. It is trying to get revenge because your loved ones have been murdered by this group of ruffians. But that game takes several hours to start having fun. Whereas this, like, quick opening and then you're having fun. And I like that. That's almost like, when we talked about One Battle After Another, that's one of those movies that like from the literal opening shot, you're like, ooh, I'm locked in. This is great.
Yeah.
We're
totally
doing
on
Heat
board.
now. Yeah, it's like I did not expect that this was going to do Heat so quickly.
Yeah.
Like to that, and again, I think I said this to you in chat. I am always in awe of the people I work with here, but like particularly when I'm like playing a video game where it's like my job is I watch something that is 90 minutes or 2 hours or 3.5 hours at a push, or if I'm watching a TV show, it's like 8 or 12 or now 6, however long it is. And it's like, I think I have given this over the course of the past 2 weeks like 14 hours, and I'm fairly sure I'm not even like half of the way through it. Now I accept I'm bad, so let's just say 7 hours worth of gameplay. And I'm like, how do you guys find the time to do this? It's like it is so big.
Very silly. Yeah.
Well, and there's just you can't really be exhaustive with games in the way that Darren, you're pretty exhaustive when it comes to like you see all the big movies, you tend to watch most of the big series and everything. You can't do that with games. You have to pick and choose. So it's like, I'm going to play Sushi, or I'm going to play Yote and Pokemon, but I'm not going to play Battlefield or whatever. Or you're going to be like Yahtzee. Yeah, exactly. Hades 2 or Silk Song. Or, Yahtzee is probably the best example of someone who plays almost every big game, but he has a week, and whether he's done or he's not done, he's done. It's an entirely different beast. I guess it would almost be the equivalent of like if you read book, like if you were a book critic.
Sure.
But like even a book has like you can see how far you are from the end and like pace yourself to it. Whereas, like, the thing about this game is like I'm like, oh, this is a big map, and then I go, oh, there's a second map that is the same size, and a third one, and wait, why are there 5 of these?
Like Darren, I'm 30 hour. I have 30 hours in right now, and I have yet to kill another of the Yote 6.
You keep hearing about like the kitsune or
exactly,
whatever.
and so it's
like,
like
get to him eventually.
Like your intro boss is one of the Yotai 6 is the snake, and so after 30 hours of gameplay, I have yet to face another boss.
Yeah,
which to me that's how I play these games, but like. And again, it's the wonderfulness of that AAA where we, especially here at Second Wind, play a lot of indie games, a lot of games that at their maximum are 4 to 6 hours. Lovely, digestible, easy, simple games. But here, like the sprawl, the amble,
and we're not even you and I aren't multiplayer guys.
Right.
Like you can, if you're like Nick, and Nick is like, I'm going to play Rainbow Six Siege for 1,000. Casey has like several thousand hours in Smash Brothers. Like that's nuts. Like every night he's just like, well, I'm logging out. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's
your thing.
Yeah, that's your thing.
I go for bike rides.
Long walk to the sunset.
But I'm listening to the
Smash American film. Yeah.
How's it going? Not well.
Not great.
Not great. But Hand the Rock to Krail is coming to Disney Plus, so everything's gonna be fine.
I think like
tomorrow
at the end
morning,
of the day,
like sun will rise and a rainbow will set over the world.
it happened. It finally happened. They remade The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Cheering in the streets.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think like it's a phenomenal game. If Ghost of Tsushima for me was a 10 out of 10, this is still a 9.5 out of 10. It's like, I do love it that narratively they didn't just tell the same story. So, Ghost of Tsushima is about like an honored samurai who needed to kind of like choose whether or not he wanted to use sneaky tactics or honorable tactics to fight all of his enemies. And it was really fascinating and a really wonderful way to incorporate like stealth kills versus you can do those call out kills.
Yeah, like the little showdowns.
And so like that was so perfectly integrated with the story, with the character. And in Yotai, they don't really do that because you're just a grunt. You are a fighter and you're going to kill people however possible. And I kind of like that. Yeah. I just want to be a little murder goblin and I get to do that.
I do admire like the movies the games protagonists. Well, they have like those false choice kind of like dialogue tree things to give you the illusion of choice in cutscenes. It's always the most passive aggressive nonsense, which I quite like. It's like you could be like, "Oh, I'm sorry that your mother died," and you press X. Like, I am sorry her mother died, and they'll be like, "Well, I'm sorry your mother died," and I'm like, "Okay, not the energy I thought I was gonna get when I pressed X."
I wish I could have like had that line reading before I chose that.
Yeah.
No, and like beyond Erika Ishii, like the entire voice cast is phenomenal. The art direction, the everything about the game, like this is why I'm okay paying $70 for a video game to have this experience and like to have it look so beautiful. I don't mess around, Darren. I don't know if you've messed around with Kurosawa mode at all, where you can play in black and white.
Yeah, I was told to play in color. They also have, mic mode as well, which is intense
Mike,
close-up.
yeah, Mike, like that, of Ichi the Killer, and also, they're making. I totally forgot about this until I just looked it up. But theoretically, Chad Stahelski is still connected to directing a Tsushima movie.
Really?
That's the guy who did John Wick.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Derek,
this is one of those things where it's like it feels. Again, this is one of the things where I'm wading into well-worn ground by critics far smarter than me. But it feels like, why would I watch the movie when I can play the game is accessible to me, and the game is, as you say, very cinematic in its storytelling. And it's like, what would you add to this?
And
I mean, that's the Last of Us argument, right?
That's the Last of Us argument. Well, to be fair, The Last of Us works better as a TV show than a video game, in my opinion. I haven't even watched the TV show. I just hate the video game because it's so much of a movie. But like to me, you would lose something in the movie because in Tsushima, character choices are also mechanical choices. It is that perfect marriage of this is why we play narrative video games.
What if the movie's a choose your own adventure where the audience gets to dictate what happens next?
If you want to go the sneaky route, head to Theater 3B. If you want to go the honorable route, head to Theater 4A.
Wasn't there a thing they tried a couple of years ago with buttons, where it was like we give the audience like buttons to press? There was something about
it's almost like almost like the Netflix movies, like the
Bandersnatch or whatever. Where the characters have a choice, like hit the button on your chair and you can choose which way the movie goes.
What was the Francis Ford Coppola
Twix?
He was live editing certain
I think somebody who saw it said he looked like a DJ down the front with his laptop.
Yes, live editing due to audience reactions.
Yes, it's like that character got a bump. Okay, subplot is back in the movie.
The problem, he shouldn't have used it then. He should have saved that also for Megalopolis. Megalopolis could have used a live editor as well as every theater having a man come up to the front to speak to Adam Driver.
In a completely unessential mode that could be replaced with a voiceover in the movie.
Yes.
Also, if you keep showing the movie, you can ask Adam Driver different questions like, so really, what was going on with that Steven Soderbergh Kylo Ren movie? Really not married?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
the monologue about art, the importance of art.
I'm really excited for the Megadoc as well.
Oh God, Megadoc looks
The
great.
documentary about the making of Megalopolis.
I'm excited for a U.S. release of Megalopolis on physical media because I want to own it.
What a mess. Movies are great. You guys want to talk about movies?
Film of the year. Hey, let's talk about movies.
45 minutes into the movie podcast.
Honestly, it's taken us longer other times.
That's fair.
So, Jack, you kind of came up with the idea for this themed exercise for our main topic. So why don't you take it away?
Okay, so I have friends in real life, and I know that might be a surprise to people. And
Are they normies?
Most of them are very normy, yes. But I've hosted Halloween parties. I have been to Halloween parties, and choosing the media that you play at those parties is relatively important. Generally speaking, if you're having a Halloween party, there should be scary movies on any TV available in any room, so that if you want to sit down for a couple minutes, watch a couple kills, get some spooky vibes, and then continue mingling throughout the party. And so the exercise for us today is to come up with a playlist of movies that are appropriate for Halloween parties. Now, I have a few things that I think are important. You might disagree with me, and that's part of the conversation. So, one, it cannot be too good of a movie.
Sure.
Because you don't want any of your guests trapped watching The Witch is one of my favorite scary movies of all time. I would never play that at a Halloween party because I would just want to watch it.
Sure.
Right? It can't be too bad of a movie, obviously, because you don't want anyone to get bored while watching it. It should have enough Halloween-y visuals as to keep the vibe going if someone's just crossing the room. For this, I rewatched. It has been a long time since I had watched Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yes.
Which I was going to put on my list until I realized how few Halloween visuals are in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
It's a great movie on how the Irish are evil.
Also a great movie on how the Irish are evil. But I remembered, I was like, oh, it's all about Halloween masks hypnotizing kids. It's got to be full of Halloween imagery. Almost zero, as close to zero.
A lot
as
of factory stuff. There's a lot of small town factories and a motel stuff. And Tom Atkins being a sex god. Yeah.
Oh my God, that everyone wanted to fuck that dad.
That's a whole different kind of Halloween party you're having now.
Yeah. Is there a point where he turns down the hot woman who's doing the forensics check with him? He's like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to make the marriage work. And it's
exactly. Not even that, sorry, I can't, I have to go investigate the masks. I would love to have sex with you, but I'm
out. It's been a long day. Yeah.
And so making sure that there's enough Halloween-y visuals or fall visuals, even just something that screams Halloween at most of the times is really, really important.
So are you expecting people to be locked in on this, or is this sometimes when you sit down with friends to watch a movie, you are all focused on the movie and there's occasional jokes and japes and everything, or are you expecting this to sort of act like wallpaper?
Exactly.
Okay.
This is more like wallpaper. If someone needs a little break from all the human interaction, they can sit down for 5 minutes, watch a little bit. But also if someone's just walking by, it should scream Halloween.
Okay.
Right? This is the bar that I have set in front of you. This is what's important to me. Should we start with my first pick of the greatest example?
Yes, but before that, I was going to ask, do you have any rules questions before we start this very serious exercise?
Yeah, which is very good. We got a scientific formula. I'm going to wheel out a whiteboard behind me right now.
Yeah.
The question is, can you hear it? That is the big thing. If you're at a party and you say you want people mingling and you want people moving from room to room, is the sound on? Is the sound at a certain level? Is noise a factor? Is soundtrack a factor? Should it be a movie that you can enjoy without any sound whatsoever?
Oh, that is such a good question, Darren. What I am going to say is sound is a factor, but it can't be the main factor because, for like any party, the main draw is the mingling, is the conversation. And so much like the visuals, it should be at a level in which can be ignored if you're in the next room. But if you are near the TV, you can hear. So sound is a minor factor. I like, theoretically on one side of your house, maybe you have spooky music playing, and on this side of your house, you have the TV going at reasonable volumes.
Okay. And then my sub question, is this a 2010 Sony Bravia with 3D glasses? And how many pairs of 3D glasses do we have?
And are they battery powered or are they the red and blue ones?
Did everyone bring their own? Was this a
No.
BYO 3DG?
Absolutely
party?
not. If there is any barrier to watch the movie does not belong on this playlist.
All right. Listen,
Marty crosses off finally
I'm
watching
speaking
Avatar
for the
Way of
audience.
Water. Yeah.
I saw everyone in chat was about to ask, what about
3D?
our 3D films?
No, I don't think something like was it Friday the 13th 3D?
I don't know if I've ever seen that in 3D. I was thinking of that. Yeah, that was just that era where all those shitty 3D. There was one of the Final Destinations was 3D. Right?
Yeah,
Amityville, actually, the fifth Final Destination, which is arguably the best Final Destination, is in 3D because I inherited a 3D television from my dad when he got an actual TV that works. So I was like, I may as well use this. And I watched all the shitty horror movies on there. And they are so bad and they're so great. But Amityville is in 3D. There's obviously, you mentioned Friday the 13th is in 3D.
Amityville.
Saw 7 is in 3D.
Amityville with Ryan Reynolds?
No. It's actually one of the really shitty ones. I believe it's the one with Meg Ryan. So I think it's because I think the big gimmick was your third movie is the 3D one.
Of course,
you can't really get it. It's obviously because it's Amity 3D. Of course, then it's Saw 7 is somehow Saw 3D, very confusingly. But anyway,
I could put Friday the 13th 3D on that list, mostly because most of the 3D gags in 2D are also very funny.
Yeah.
Of just a pitchfork.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Going towards the camera without 3D glasses is hilarious.
Or Vincent Price holding a pad, a ping pong paddle or something with a little ball.
Exactly.
Really quick.
Have you installed the Tingler in your kitchen for this to work?
That's a great question. How many seats are equipped with Tinglers?
No Tinglers.
Yeah. Okay.
No
BYO Tingler, not necessarily synced up to the movie. That's a different kind of
I'm not
guess.
this party.
That's whatever party you're throwing, I don't judge.
Really quick, was Ryan Reynolds ever in? Why did I bring up
Yes,
Ryan?
he was.
He
Wasn't in Amityville. He was in the Amityville remake in I think 2010, 2011ish.
Okay.
I remember it being fine. It's better than the Amityville movies, but the Amityville movies are very bad. Also, there
it
are
better
30
than R.I.P.D.? Was that the movie he was in? I keep naming movies that I think Ryan Reynolds may have been.
Yes,
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges. Yeah,
That's
that got name dropped in the backdrop this week.
What? I haven't even watched this week's backdrop yet. How did that happen?
Yeah, because it's one of those big hole in the sky movies.
Yeah. Love a hole in the sky movie.
Yeah, I'm like, can I name 30? Can I show 30 of these in the space of a minute? Turns out I can get 33.
We'll save that topic for next episode. Best hole in the sky movies.
Best hole in the sky movies. Yeah.
Jack, did you want to start things off with a suggestion?
I will start things off. This is I know we've done episodes like this before, and I'm sure I have given this recommendation before, but what I believe to be the gold standard of Halloween themed movies for your Halloween party is Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Every single frame it all takes place on Halloween night, so every single frame has something spooky, something, pumpkin, fall, vampires, murderers, ghosts. Every single thing about this movie screams Halloween. It is the gold standard for Halloween movies.
And it does the anthology thing that Season of the Witch did, with less blaming everything on the Irish. Honestly, I haven't rewatched it in a while.
The worst movie, but who's to say?
But who are we to say? And that little dude kind of became like an icon for a little bit. The little dude with the little pumpkin head.
Oh God, yeah, I love him.
Love that dude. Creep. I like him.
The little spirit of spookiness or whatever.
I'm surprised that never became a franchise. Well, it feels like something that could have become like VHS, where every 2 years we get a new VHS.
I want to say one of the producers was very problematic.
And we'll be right back, folks.
Bow, 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 bow.
Because that's
Let
a
me
hard
Google
year
Harvey
we're
Weinstein
making
really
on this
quick,
show.
because
Yeah,
last I
yeah.
heard, he was winning Oscars up the wazoo. So I don't
different
know.
problematic.
All these
answers.
photos of him around very prominent people who surely endorse all of his politics and personal beliefs,
So-
right?
Just listen. A lot of us went to the island. We didn't know what was going on in the island. But when a
This is
private
the Al
jet
Gore
takes you-
argument of like, yeah, you were just there to study, like, go diving, isn't that?
Yeah,
the thing?
I did not inhale in the island. The island.
Yeah. I went snorkeling when all the sex stuff was happening.
Right. I just
Listen,
thought it was a 2 week.
I just wanted to use the zip line over and over. The zip line looked like a lot of fun. That's a great one. That's a great movie. Also, anyone should check out if they haven't seen it yet. It's great. Just don't Google the producer. Darren, do you have any?
Well, given the criteria we mentioned, like, part of me is like, should it be something that is not in English because like dialogue is less important, and you can say that that's kind of the non-English language horror movies that have broken through tend to be quite visual. So I would probably go with something like Japanese, and there's a couple options there like Hausu, even Ringu is very striking visually. But Kwaidan, which is like just one of the most visually stunning movies I have ever seen. Which is just, it is an anthology movie. It's a selection of kind of ghost stories. It's not jump scary, but it is gorgeous in the way that like
those
movie?
happen. There's Kwaidan.
Kwaidan, Kwaidan, I believe.
Yeah,
Kwaidan?
it
Kwaidan?
is.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Kwaidan.
I needed to open a tab because I've never seen it.
It's one of the most gorgeous movies I have ever seen. And it's like, again, haunting and like visual. It's got like, because it's all shot in studio sets. It's got like strong makeup choices, strong background design choices, really crisp color and contrast. So to your point, Jack, it is something where something is always interesting on screen. So even if you are like not listening or following the plot, and also it's an anthology, you're always like, this is pretty cool. And I think like that hopefully fits the vibe that you're going for. It's a gorgeous movie. And if you haven't seen it, it is also very good with the sound on.
No, but that's exactly the kind of thing. Cause like what, the thing we are trying to create here is essentially, like Marty said, like interesting wallpaper.
I think we lost him.
Oh, hello.
We lost who?
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, all right.
Oh, did you lose us? Whoa.
Yes. We lost
Oh,
you too.
sorry. I should have been vamping. Apologies. I was looking around awkwardly, like the listeners going, "Why is Darren staring like he's in a void?"
Did you get us back?
Are we back?
You're
got
back,
you back.
you're back, yes.
Okay, we're back. Yeah. So it's like, the thing we're looking for with this playlist is something that can spark conversation, something that can be interesting in little chunks or interesting in larger chunks. So this sounds like the perfect kind of set dressing. I love it. I love it.
And I want to give a special shout out also. You mentioned Hausu. Incredible. That's one of those you don't even need to put the subtitles on or hear anything. Like it's visuals speak for itself.
Yeah, I love it.
For one of mine, we talked about this a few months ago with Megalopolis, but I hadn't rewatched it in a very long time. Coppola's Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. That is one of those movies on rewatch. I was like, oh, this is like one of the most gorgeous, like formally experimental blockbuster horror movies I've ever seen. And that is one that, again, you do not need. Like, you can have the audio off with music playing in the background, but just the extremely incredible visuals of that movie from start to finish is great.
Spooky, very atmospheric, but like still like, there's no pumpkins.
Yeah.
But
and it's not like, I would almost like, because you don't know who's coming to this party. Not like there's probably not gonna be kids here, but like some people don't want to see
Monica
like
Belushi boobs. Is that the argument we're having here? Like,
no. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't want something that's like insanely graphically gory. That, like, I'm fine with like Saw or anything like that. But like, I don't know. Some people are gonna be like, I'm eating a crab rangoon right. Why would you have crab rangoon? Perfectly normal Halloween party food, crab rangoon. But I don't want to be taking a like buffalo chicken dip or something, and all of a sudden something spooky comes out.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Bram Stoker's Dracula, I think, is a perfect blend of the visuals and nothing that'll ruin your crab rangoon. And it's got Monica Belushi, so there you go.
Okay. My next pick is something that I have been trying to proselytize for. I've been trying to make sure, like, I tell as many people about this. It is one of just my favorite horror movies in general, which is Vi: Spirit of Evil. Which is an old Soviet era horror movie, one of the only horror movies. In fact, it might be the only horror movie produced under the government film program of the Soviet Union. Wonderful visuals, exceptional movie. And again, no pumpkins, no trick-or-treaters, but just spooky vibes all throughout. And it's not in English. And so it is one of those movies that you can very easily look over, see the creepy dead girl messing with the monk over and over again, and just enjoy the absolute heck out of.
I love it. I haven't seen this one. I'm gonna add it to my list.
I can lend you my DVD copy.
I'm gonna watch it right after I watch The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
So it's going to
20
vie for your
2025.
attention, is what you're saying, yeah?
That was really good.
Yes,
It's really good. Darren, what else you got?
I worry that I'm just picking retro picks here, but I'm thinking very much of I was going to say The Hand That Rocks the Cradle because you planted that in my head. But no, I was going to recommend The Mask of the Red Death from 1964, starring Vincent Price, one of those like classic Edgar Allan Poe adaptations that is in no way an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's story, but is just one of the most gorgeous movies ever made. It recently got remastered, I believe, in 4K. I saw the Blu-ray there, and it is one of those things that is just like so much kind of 60s horror. It's not particularly scary. It's not particularly gnarly, to Marty's point. You're not going to throw up your crab rangoon. But like,
listen, you can serve whatever you want at your
serve whatever
party.
you
Don't
want.
knock my crab rangoon fest.
but you are really all in on Crab Eater. It's like, yeah, no, but it is vibrant and it's colorful, and again, for a lot of the reasons that Quaidan and kind of Hausu kind of jump out, it has that kind of tangibility and tactility where it looks gorgeous and it's always interesting. And because it is like any of those adaptations of the Edgar Allan Poe stories, not really a narrative that like functions or works. It's not really like, you're not watching it for the story. It's not like one of the great adaptations of an Edgar Allan Poe story. It's just something you can watch and enjoy. I think it would play very well in the background. I was going to recommend like any version of Nosferatu, but I feel like Bram Stoker's Dracula beats me to it. But like playing Radiohead over like the 1922 Nosferatu is just one of the great experiences. Or any German expressionist movie like Dr. Mabuse or whatever, or The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Whoa, Dr. Magoose? Who's that? Who's that, man?
Mabuse
I don't
the
know.
Gambler. It's F.W. Murnau. Like, and again, welcome to Tangent Upon Tangent here. But like, I love that Murnau, like, he made two Mabuse movies. Like, is it Dr. Mabuse and Mabuse the Gambler in the 1920s?
He looks scary. Jack pulled his picture up. I don't like him.
Yeah.
Dr. Mabuse, yeah.
Yeah. But he was like in 1978, he was like, the time is finally here for me to complete my Mabuse trilogy. It's like, yep, we're bringing him into the talkies. It's one of the rare examples of like a movie trilogy that spans the silent era and the color talkies. But yeah, something like that would probably also play very well.
Also, that could be a good theme to your party as an amuse mabouche.
Mabuse, yeah.
Oh. I kind of want to just leave because I think I've peaked. That's a great one. Also adding that to my list. I'm gonna zag a little bit. I'm gonna get to anime. I don't know. I look over to the side and Jesse gave me 2 thumbs up.
No,
I don't know if Jesse was just like doing a great job or if he's like, you fucked something up.
Jesse gave me a thumbs up because apparently my windscreen like somehow got off of my mic, like was slowly creeping off my mic, and so I needed to fix it.
Windscreen.
I
Incredible.
thought Jesse was just really into the anime choice. He's like, finally, we're getting to culture.
We're finally getting to the good stuff. This is a movie I watched on a personal stream of mine a couple months ago with some folks. It's a relatively short OVA, which is an original video animation from the 80s. This is called Devilman: The Birth. And this is about a kid who accidentally stumbles upon the power of a devil named Amon.
Okay.
And accidentally will turn into the devil occasionally and like murder other demons at like dance clubs and everything. But
Yeah.
the thing about this is it needs to be watched with the English dub because it is like historically one of the worst English dubs you will ever hear on anything in your life.
Yes.
To the point where it is, in my opinion, the only way to watch the movie is because it is so funny. It is so hyper vulgar to where it's like, why are these characters swearing so much?
Yes.
And like, that doesn't like, swears don't do anything for me anymore, but just the way they're delivered in this are so great. That I love this movie. I think it is one of the most entertaining movies to watch. Also relatively short. So
nice.
Devilman: The Birth. They've made
I love,
more.
by the way, that we're like, can you hear the volume? Mar's like, we're turning it all the way up. It's
all the way up. Everyone shut up. You're crunching on your crab rangoon too loudly. But But yeah, I love that they did. Shawshank, you mentioned they did kind of remake Devilman into a more serious anime a couple years ago called Devilman Crybaby, and it's extremely vulgar, but it's not that funny.
Oh,
And I want the goofs.
yeah, we got to be there for the goof.
Got to be there for the goofs.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah, Devilman.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like my last one is a little bit of a cheat because I don't consider it a Halloween movie.
Okay.
It's one of those things where it's like not all horror movies are Halloween.
Sure.
movies.
Yeah.
I will tokenly
Like Thanksgiving, for example.
they'll be Thanksgiving, right? Or like Silent Night, Deadly Night is a horror movie, not a Halloween movie.
Sure.
I will tokenly remind people one of my favorites that I originally watched on Best of the Worst because it was supposed to be a so good it's bad movie is Hack-O-Lantern. I love Hack-O-Lantern. I recommend it all the time. It's a great Halloween movie. I think genuinely very good movie. But the last that I would put on a list is a little nostalgia fest of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh, the original?
The original Nightmare on Elm Street. Great kills, great spooky vibes. This is, of course, this would be an adult party.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of blood. But I think adding something like that to your list where there's a lot of great kills, there's a lot of great tense moments of people going, oh, I remember that. Again, thinking about this as a conversation starter.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
like
a
that.
gorgeous movie. It's beautifully lit as well. There's backlit sequences of Freddy when he's walking down the alley. That sequence where his hands stretch for the first time and you realize what he can do.
Yes.
I love the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I think it's maybe one of the best horror franchises, like pound
Agreed.
for pound, quality for quality. I think you have to get to the fifth one before you hit an honest to goodness bad like Nightmare on Elm Street movie, which is incredible for a horror franchise. Yeah, Eric found it. Like that, the way that image is shot when he's moving, where it's lit from behind, it's like it's a really well made movie for all that it is, like a wonderfully schlocky, accessible, crowd pleasing like teen horror movie. It's I love that movie so much.
Yes.
What did you guys see I was about to say the newish, but no, this was probably like 15 years ago. The remake, the one with Becky Earl.
No.
Yes, for my sins, I have seen that movie.
Yeah,
Rooney Mara's in it.
That's right. Yeah. That was a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a really, again, the makeup is not great. Eric, thank you for putting that up there. That will haunt my dreams. The reimagined Freddy Krueger. The movie, I assume we can talk about that with spoilers. There's nobody who's gagging to watch the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street reboot.
I'm excited to because I have no memory of seeing I saw the movie in theaters, have no memory of it, so I would love to look what happened in that movie.
Okay, all right. But the thing is, they tiptoe up to the line of doing something interesting, which is what if Freddy Krueger was innocent? Because obviously the thing about Freddy Krueger is he abused children and was murdered by a vigilante mob. And the pitch of the Nightmare on Elm Street sequel or Nightmare on Elm Street reboot for the first 50 minutes of it is, what if he was actually innocent, but we torched him and now he's killing our kids? And
he was a victim of mob mentality he was kind of a weird dude, but he didn't do the crime.
Yeah. And obviously being burnt alive will change your perspective on this sort of thing. Which is an interesting hook and is subversive and is playing with your relationship to the original. And then 50 minutes in, they just pull the crank and they go, no, he was a pedophile. It's grand. It's exactly the same as the first movie. And it's
They hit that logical point in the movie where no, but we still have to be okay killing him at the end. He can't be the winner at the end. Yeah,
I mean, he's killing children in the movie, Jack. I don't feel like there's a point where he says, look, you guys, I know I killed your kids, but you guys burnt me alive. Fair. Call it even. It's we all made mistakes. Let's learn and grow. That's
all right.
Can we form a little circle here with a talking cushion?
Yeah.
I love it. Darren, do you have your last one?
Just very, very quickly. I think
you can also give some honorable mentions and stuff if you have a big list of them. Listen, there's no cops here.
There's no rules.
I'm kind of worried about like picking just like foreign films in general, but like any giallo, like Suspiria, the Argento Suspiria just looks gorgeous.
Such a good pick.
Yeah,
because it's again got all those vibrant colors.
Soundtrack by Goblin.
Oh. Yeah. Well, that's it as well. Like I was thinking about like playing alternate soundtracks over these things. I think Dawn of the Dead is another one that like I've seen with a crowd in a cinema. I haven't watched a party, but it's a movie that the original Dawn of the Dead plays incredibly with a crowd, which is stunning. And one of my favorite like theatrical experiences is, to your point, watching Goblin rescore Dawn of the Dead live in theaters. It's one of my favorite like things I have ever seen in a cinema. And it's like, if you could sync that album up as it's playing and you can have conversations over it, it's a gorgeous movie. So yeah, those would be like my two picks. It'd be something like Suspiria or something like Dawn of the Dead. Just something, again,
Such a good pick.
Yeah.
That like the vibes. Oh, the vibes.
I like that it's like Darren just likes color. That the one thing we can take away is Darren likes color.
Well, first of all, we know what modern blockbusters look like. And so remembering when movies had interesting colors, not color vomited upon us, is very important. Yeah.
That's so depressing. My before we do honorable mentions, my last one also technically a foreign film. I say technically because it is Gaspar Noé directed it, but a lot of it is in English. It was this 2018 movie called Climax. Darren, did you ever see Climax?
Very. I was waiting for you to say Climax. Yeah, that was when you mentioned Gaspar Noé. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be Climax, isn't it?
This is a movie I saw in theaters, and it was probably the most visceral experience I've ever had in a movie theater.
This is why you asked the 3D glasses question.
This is why I want the 3D glasses. Climax is about it is filmed non-traditionally in that almost every actor in the movie is just a dancer. And they're not trained actors.
Okay.
And the movie is about a group of dancers who go out to like this kind of like abandoned warehouse in the middle of the woods to have like a large, like a dance party. And they're drinking sangria, they're dancing. It turns out someone has spiked the sangria with some fucked up LSD.
Sure.
And it turns into this downward spiral into hell as the LSD starts impacting the people. Jack just pointed at his PC. This is a Tubi. It's on Tubi. We got a Tubi. No, but this movie legitimately, like it is the most you will ever feel like you are experiencing the hell of the characters.
Okay.
Because so much of the movie is shot in these extended long sequences. The soundtrack is this throbbing, like techno dance music. The camera will follow these characters as they're moving throughout the party, as they are slowly, the LSD is hitting them.
Yeah.
And it's different people are impacted by this differently. When they find out that this is happening, they're freaking out. Yes. There's kind of secrets between some of the characters. I believe it was shot without a screenplay, and he was kind of like, how do you want your character to react to these things? Who do you want your character? So it almost feels like an art installation, but it is a movie that, like I said, it is beautifully shot. The music's incredible, and it felt like I was going to hell.
Yeah, the movie is called Climax.
Climax.
And it came out in 2018.
And it's on Tubi. So.
And it's free to watch on Tubi.
Incredible. Climax.
Oh, I was thinking about, Gaspar
Enter the
Noé's
Void?
Love, which is the one that features the 3D sex scene.
Oh, sure. You know what?
So many
Climax. Listen, after Climax, whoever's still there, whoever hasn't gotten sick from the crab rangoon that I laced with LSD, we can get our 3D glasses that we borrowed from Jack, and we can all.
So is Climax the last movie that you play so that people start leaving because it's that weird?
That's what I want. I'm like, listen, I'm tired. I don't want anyone here anymore. Let's everyone get the fuck.
We're self-selecting the normies out, basically. Yeah.
I'm also worried. I haven't rewatched this movie in 7 years. I'm worried I'd rewatch it and be like, shouldn't have recommended that. Hope that one wasn't recorded on film.
Well, but like you said, you are going off of your the visceral memory of reviewing, and it's like that could be a great recommendation, or maybe it's terrible.
I saw it at like noon, and I remember walking out of the theater, and it was just like a beautiful day in San Francisco, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with my life now. Where do I go?
That's
not,
great.
Not to indulge in stereotypes. It's a very San Francisco movie.
Yeah, it is incredible. Yes. No, please indulge in stereotypes as much as you want. Great city. What a weird city.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Did you, Darren? Did you have any sort of honorable mentions you want to?
I did just want to shout out anything by Panos, is it Cosmatos?
Cosmatos.
So Beyond the Black Rainbow, or Mandy, or The Viewing, which is the short he made about space cocaine, starring Peter Weller, Eric Andre, and Sophie Boutella for Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Also, arguably anything by Guillermo del Toro would probably play very well in this mode as well.
Yeah.
So those would be my honorable mentions. I do want to shout out the space cocaine, though. I did love that so much.
That was. I'm so bummed that you mentioned that they haven't brought that back, that you haven't done, because that's a show that you could do every other year. You could make a new anthology horror movie with Guillermo just kind of spooking people.
Get 6 hot young horror filmmakers and be like, just go off and do a thing. As long as it doesn't cost much, hang out with a bunch of mates, and it could be about whatever. It's such an not every one of those works, but Jennifer Kent's The Murmuring is like this really sweet meditation on like loss and grief, but then you also have like space cocaine music video episode, which is just incredible. Like I love a show that contains multitudes.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good stuff. My only other mentions. This is obviously on the opposite side of the spectrum from Climax. I really love the Treehouse of Horror episodes of The Simpsons.
Yes.
I don't watch The Simpsons anymore, but I do watch every Treehouse of Horror.
Sure.
And especially there's that, when The Simpsons was perfect, that like season 3 to season 9 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that was my first time. I knew The Shining because of that, and then I saw The Shining, and I'm like, oh, there was that episode that was just The Shining.
Yeah.
Same thing. Bram Stoker's Dracula. There's a great episode where they go to Mr. Burns' castle, and it's all the iconography from the movie. So I love those. I think those are super fun. Each
like inserting an episode in between longer movies.
that could be
throughout your
great.
party, that would be
And
really
they're
fun.
nice little like 9-minute stories and everything. Those are great. Yeah.
That's great.
Did you
I
have
mean,
any
like
other-
The Simpsons were just
go
like
ahead.
so incredibly like literate. That's the thing. It's like I think I mentioned this
Yes.
before. Before I saw Citizen Kane, I saw Citizen Kane through The Simpsons. Watching Citizen
Oh,
Kane for
yeah.
the first time, I was like, that's that bit from The Simpsons.
I think that's an
the-
incredibly normal reaction. To anyone who's roughly our age, you grew up and saw those movies, and you're like, "Oh, that's like A Streetcar
That's
Named
where they come
Desire."
Oh my
Yeah.
god! Oh my
That's
god!
The Graduate. Yeah.
That wasn't like a weird thing they did. They are calling out. Yes. So many references. I only got 20 years after seeing it on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. My last one. This is my most oddball pick. It's just a horror movie that has stuck with me throughout time after seeing it, which is Happiness of the Katakuris.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Which is the slightly stop motion animation, but mostly horror musical, Japanese horror musical, which I don't even think is very good. I just think it's bizarre.
Yeah.
And it's just weird enough. Again, I like to think of conversation starters, and so like if someone walked past, saw a family killing a young man, and then singing a song about it,
Yeah.
that's gonna get people talking.
Yeah, that's gonna get people talking.
So that's my last odd. Obviously, like I'll mention it again, but Hacko Lantern. I want to say they just put out a nice new remaster on 4K Blu-ray, and it's just a really genuinely good horror movie. I feel bad saying that though, just because like I did a whole internet show about it.
Sure.
So,
How many Puppet Master movies would you recommend?
for this, absolutely zero.
Okay, I accidentally put on the Nazi one, and I don't know how to stop it.
You put on the one where they said, "What if the Nazis were the good?"
I lost the remote.
Let's start some interesting conversation in your party you don't want to follow through to the end, because there's always going to be one guy who's nodding on a little too intently
Exactly.
with the puppet.
or that's the greatest one, because then you find that guy
And
it's
you're like, oh, this is how I excise these people from my life.
you need to leave.
That's not bad.
You need to leave.
Mad God also maybe is while we're talking.
Oh,
like,
Mad
stop
God is a
motion,
great,
Mad-
the Phil
that
Tippett
feels slightly-
movie, the stop animation movie. That is a beautiful, that is a nightmarish movie, but some of the most beautiful stop motion
very
animation you'll ever see.
interesting pick.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great one. Mad God. Love that. Great. So hopefully that helps you out for some recos of things to watch to get you in the mood for the spooky season.
Yeah.
Before we move on to just talking about everything else we've been watching, let's go over a couple more super chats. Tommy Salty just re-upped in the tip jar. Almost 2 years. Thank you so
Appreciate
much, Tommy. Appreciate you. Metalhead with a $5 dono. Oh my God.
Sleep token. I'm wearing my sleep token
Is
shirt.
that a Metalhead thing?
for any metalheads out there?
Oh, I was thinking, wasn't Metalhead the name of that? What was the Black Mirror episode where there was like a little Terminator robot?
Yeah, the little dog, the little black and white dog that hunts.
Yeah.
Maximum Peak.
That might have not been called Metalhead.
I
It
don't
was
know.
called Metal something.
I think it was Metalhead.
There you go.
right.
Metalhead, thank you so much. Can't watch live, but Darren, there's a Voyager game where you go through the episodes and make your own decisions, like not kill Tuvix.
I've seen that, and I will admit I am a little bit curious about like playing my own version of Voyager, where it does
Right.
look like it's branching story choices, where like you can choose to align with Seska or you can choose to align with the Kazon. I'm like, how different would it be? And it's so fascinating that feels like such an exploration. It feels like a work of criticism of Star Trek Voyager within the licensed Star Trek brand, because it's like, here are a bunch of things that happen in Voyager, but what if you could do interesting things within that? I am very curious. What if your
What if you
decisions had
could make
long-term
the
consequences?
correct choices.
It's crazy that there just
choices.
hasn't been a big AAA Star Trek game. Like, third person, you know, like we have the Jedi Order, Jedi
Yeah.
Outcast games or whatever. Like, it's just weird that there's not like there's been Trek games, but they're usually kind of.
It seems like such an easy pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to different planets. A bunch of fun.
I mean,
I don't even care. I
I-
don't give a shit about Star Trek, and I feel like that could work.
I mean, I do also think it's the movie thing as well, where like there've been a bunch of Star Trek movies as well, but they're never going to be as big as Star Wars because the franchise just is so perfectly suited to the episodic format of television. Like
Well,
it's like
not
it is.
to sell them short. If once the Mandalorian and Grogu comes out, maybe Star Trek movies will be bigger than Star Wars movies.
Nice.
You say that as if that movie isn't going to be the worst movie ever and make $700 million anyway. Like,
I don't think it'll make that much money. I have a feeling it's going to be like a big old bomb.
It's very possible that like the general population is just so used to seeing them on Disney Plus that everyone will be very happy to wait.
Like the first season of Mandalorian, my mom, who doesn't care about Star Wars, was like, I think the Baby Yoda is very cute and I want to watch this show.
Yeah.
And then I told her a few weeks ago they're making a new Star Wars movie about the Baby Yoda, and she's like, well, I already watched the show. I don't need to watch the movie. And I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. Honestly, that's how I should feel.
Yeah.
shout out, like, it's the big picture where Amanda Dobbins is like, Baby Yoda hasn't grown up cute. Like, that he's aged out of being cute. Where it's like, the puppet has, like, as it's aged, they've added, like, wrinkles and more definition to it. It's like, no, it's just not cute as he used to be. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that happened to regular Yoda. Yoda was the cutest when he was first introduced, and then they made him that like horrifying puppet in episode 1. I'm like, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Bring me back cute Yoda.
and then you were like, but the CGI frog with the lightsaber, on the other hand, that I can get
now
behind.
we're getting somewhere. Okay, and then Seba Kingmaker, thank you so much for the Argentinian dono. The three of you together are my favorite combination for a pod. I absolutely love hearing you discuss any topic. Marty, hearing you brightens my day. Darren, you're knowledgeable. Your knowledge and insight are mind-blowing. And Jack, you're my favorite. Just don't tell the others. And then I also followed it up with cheers, and I didn't even mention Eric, my fellow Argentinian. He's incredible. I just don't have enough characters for the super chat to praise everything. Seba, thank you so much. We appreciate it. It's kind of crazy that you said don't tell anyone that Jack's your favorite, and I had to read that out loud, so that kind of makes me feel shitty.
weird.
But that's
No,
fine.
that's
That's fine.
weird.
That's fine. I'm not upset. If anyone wants to write that I'm upset, don't let them. I'm just gonna eat my crab rangoon by myself and watch Climax. Ernor,
I'll be in my room watching.
I'll be in my room. No one come in.
Don't come in.
Ernor, thank you so much. $5 dono. Love you, spoopy film boys. Which film auteur would you pick to revitalize a classic horror franchise like Robert Eggers doing Nightmare on Elm Street? I kind of want that.
Oh.
That now that you mentioned that idea is in my brain.
You know what? No, I think that's like Eggers. I give that man almost anything. I don't think he's a good fit for Nightmare on Elm Street. You need someone a little more fancy.
Yeah,
Fanciful.
Well, Eggers is currently somewhat attached to a
Is it
Wolfman
werewolf?
movie. Werewolf?
Yeah, werewolf. Like, I love that he's honing in on like the boss. Like, I did a Dracula movie. What am I gonna do now?
Let me do the rest of my Universal folks, and then supposedly a Labyrinth thing, which isn't horror per se, but Labyrinth
That's
like the.
been in the
cement
pipeline forever, though, right? That's one of
Yeah,
the
I don't know
things
if
where
that's
it's
I don't know if any of those things are real, but
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to see Ari Aster's Madam Web. Like, that's
Like who was
or
who's
Morbius.
the
Was it
direct-
Morbius was the one?
yeah.
Who was the director that started making like episodes of Atlanta and then went on to making
Hiro Murai.
Hero?
Oh,
Give Nightmare on Elm Street to Hiro Murai. He could make something very.
Yeah, I mean, some of those episodes of Atlanta do feel like waking nightmares.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the Teddy
exactly.
Perkins episode and some of the ones abroad.
Like I want someone who's a little more experimental, dealing with dream monster kills you in your dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. Darren, do you have any that come to mind?
I mean, just again, the examples that came to mind are already kind of mentioned. I'm trying to think in terms of, no, get back to me on that. Get back to me.
Yeah, I know. I wish I
That's-
this.
Yeah.
I wish this was in the doc like 5 hours ago, so I could
Right.
think on it. Yeah,
That's a very good question. Dream casting visionaries with old IP that you want to see come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would kind of love to see just like somebody who is given it and like just given complete freedom and like given a reasonable budget, but like no oversight whatsoever. So like I'm thinking, for example, like Annie Lily Armapur, who is like a director
yeah.
who is fairly hit and miss across her career, for being entirely honest, but is like always a visual stylist. She's the one who did like A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, the Iranian kind of zombie,
Yeah.
vampire movie. She
Sure.
also did The Bad Batch with Jim Carrey in it, and Jason Momoa, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. yeah.
But I think of that, I'm thinking like Lexi Alexander would probably be nice on something
yeah.
like properly gnarly, like a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
Even though she seems to be in director jail, like somebody like that is kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I don't want to see Christopher Nolan's like Friday the 13th movie.
Hey, listen, Inception. He kind of we're in dreams.
Yeah, that's.
Still no.
I mean,
Everything's
they
just
did that on
backwards.
Rick and
John
Morty, I
Protagonist
believe. Like
waiting.
they quite literally did that on Rick.
Yeah,
and
I guess
Morty.
that is true. Yeah. I was about to be like Zach Kreger, and I was like, well, I guess he's making Resident Evil, so I guess we're gonna see him making a thing I like and seeing if he could do something with it. So
Absolutely.
And he seems excited about it as well, which is the thing. Like every time he talks about that movie, I'm like, I should be cynical about this, but suddenly I'm interested.
yeah, it doesn't feel like he's doing it for the money or for the boost. He's doing it because he likes it.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
yeah.
well, fuck it. Well, when I say anything. King Commoner with the $10 dono. Thank you so much. It depends on the mood you're going for, but Over the Garden Wall deserves consideration. I had that originally on the list, and then I realized I brought that up last year. We did an episode with just like standard Halloween recos, and that was one I talked about. But yeah, I love Over the Garden Wall, a short animated series. Elijah Wood is one of the main voices of it, of like these two brothers, like an older brother and a younger brother, who go over a garden wall in their town and all of a sudden enter this kind of like dark, like fairy tale fantasy world. It's like the perfect amount of like scary and tension without still being, primarily for kids, but has a great kind of like autumnal vibe.
That is a perfect October 1st watch.
Yeah,
Like, that's what you do. Or even, by the way, I'm going to put this out there. That's even November 1st. Like, Halloween is over, but I still want fall vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great pick.
Yeah. And it's a pretty short, the episodes are short and there's only like 8 of them. Like, this is something that's like the length of a movie.
Exactly.
But yeah, Over the Garden Wall. Big record there.
Yeah, that's great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, King Commoner. Quintuple A with a $20 dono. Thanks, Quintuple. Since Darren loves media about stuff, i.e. The Dark Knight is the War on Terror, what game would you recommend to Darren with strong themes? Also assume that he has a pocket dimension, so time is of no consequence.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
What game has strong themes?
Can I throw something out here to you guys? Because this has been recommended to me. Shout out to Brian Lloyd. The Spec Ops: The Line is a game that has been recommended to me, but is not play. It does not seem to be legally playable.
They just like 2 years ago they pulled it off digital shelves, I believe, because it had a lot of like kind of like, for lack of a better term, Vietnam movie music in it. It'd be like, oh, here's your CCR, and here's, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think,
or we played Fortunate Son at some point.
Yeah, and I think literally, just because this happens in movies and TV shows and stuff, I think their licensing was for like 10 years, and I think once the 10 years was up, they had to pull it. So, that really sucks. But yeah, that is great. That is a great anti-war game that does things that kind of only a video game could do.
Here's my hot take.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that to you, Darren.
Okay.
I don't recommend that to a normie. Because I believe you have to be already well-versed within the first-person shooter genre in order for it to be impactful, because it does subvert some expectations.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the general language of how these games are supposed to go, it won't be as impactful for you.
What if I played GoldenEye?
I was about to say, as someone who played GoldenEye and had Darren explain to me everything that I'm doing wrong in GoldenEye, I think Darren's fine.
That was a mischaracterization. I offered some helpful suggestions and some constructive feedback.
I think it's a wonderful game, but I don't think I would go normie. I think, knowing that Darren is playing Ghost of Yotoi right now, I think we go with the other entryway into arty farty games, which is Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, sure. Darren, you may know Shadow of the Colossus as the video game that Adam Sandler plays in the film Reign Over Me, because he needs to get over the fact that his family died in 9/11.
9/11, yep.
Yeah. So you might know about that one. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that is a game that is simple for a novice, a video game novice, to get into. while also dealing with some wonderful themes.
I like that.
Alright.
Yeah, I would. My mind's going to stuff like Portal, Bioshock. They're kind of like normie answers that do
Sure.
something really
Yeah.
interesting. I guess
Portal's nice because you only need a couple hours to play it.
yeah, and like it is a twin stick first person shooter, but
Yeah.
it is simple.
It's a
and,
logic
you know,
puzzle as well.
It's
like
it's
a
yeah,
co-
you're puzzled. You're
Yeah.
going through like a
Yeah.
series of puzzle rooms.
Yeah.
Both some of the funniest writing ever in a video game.
Yeah.
Or like on the indie front, stuff like Outer Wilds or even like Return of the Obra Dinn. Again, more like puzzly things. But now I'm just naming
You
games that I
mentioned
like.
like there was a Willem Dafoe kind of cinematic game a couple of years ago, if I remember correctly, right?
Well,
Where you've
there's
gotta
been two
solve a
Willem
murder.
Dafoe games.
Oh, okay, all right.
There's one called Beyond Two Souls that also starred Elliot Page. That game kind of sucks. However,
Okay, all right.
However, a few years ago, there was an indie game starring Willem Dafoe, James McAvoy, and Daisy
Yes,
Ridley
that's the
called
one,
12 Minutes.
Oh no.
Okay, no, okay,
I
no,
would
okay.
love nothing more than for Darren to play 12 minutes on a stream. We got to bring back Jack.
Darren.
One of
How long
I
until
hope
I
most-
throw a controller against or through some sort of glass object?
I think one of the most iconic stream moments we ever had were Jack and Yahtzee playing 12 minutes and getting the 12 minutes. It's kind of a time loop. You mentioned Majora's Mask earlier. It's a time loop game where you're a guy who's in his apartment, and within 5 minutes, Willem Dafoe is going to break down your door and threaten to kill you.
Yeah.
And you have to keep reliving the loop to be like, what is going on? What can I figure out how to get out of this scenario? And all that's like fine. Like the game is totally fine. It's decent performances. And then there's a twist. And let me tell you, when you get to that twist, you can like see the light in their eyes leave when they get to the twist. Yeah.
Oh no, I almost you're almost convincing me that Darren should play this, but Darren, no. If like that's one of those games that makes me like the medium of video games less. It's so pretentious, and it's but I'm not going to give anything away because maybe we
Why
make
did
this a
Marty
Patreon
mention
exclusive.
this in previous conversation?
Because this is like the twist of this game is iconically bad. It is like hilariously bad.
Hilariously bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
It's good stuff.
Okay, a Patreon exclusive video. Darren plays through 12 minutes with all of us watching.
People are going to be so disappointed when it's a solid 3 hours of me running into a wall repeatedly. I'll get it this time, I swear.
Oh,
I got the
Marty.
door handle.
Marty.
What a picture. Mindule, thank you so much for a $2 dono. Marty's in the pocket of Big Chinese Takeout. Listen, I would gladly, if they would sponsor me and just instead of sending money, just send me little crabbies, little rangoons.
If we could make that like via Grubhub or whatever, where we just get food, I'm there.
Oh my
I'm
god.
so there for that.
Less
Nick.
crab feeder, more crab eater, baby.
Oh my god, that's great. Write that down. Someone write that down. I'm not going to write them. Phil, thank you so much.
That'll be the thing we came away from, like the Grand Second Wind Summit with.
We got to have Darren play 12 minutes, and we got to get some crab rangoon.
Yeah,
That's all.
and we love Chinese takeout.
And we love Chinese takeout.
We love Chinese takeout.
Phil, thank you so much for the £5 dono. An interesting fact about Devilman is that the original manga was created by Go Nagai, who also invented the concept of piloted mecha in Mazinger Z.
Oh,
Someone invented getting in the cockpit?
someone had to be the first person to be like, "What if a dude was in a big robot dude?"
That kind of looked like a
Yeah.
dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Hideaki Anno was with Evangelion was like, and what if the robot was your mom? He's like, great. That's how brainstorming works. It's wonderful.
Like one of my favorite facts is Julie Newmar on Batman, who plays Catwoman with like the iconic silhouette, made more money off like patenting the corset design than she did off playing Catwoman in the TV show.
Oh,
She invented
that's
this
good.
which is incredible.
That is amazing.
How much money do you think she made off of Tu Wong Fu? Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Don't think she had to endorse it. I don't like.
You don't think they
I
had
don't-
to
I-
pay her to have her name in the title?
I do love the idea that like it's just posters of Julie Newmar holding like the picture of the movie.
Do we think Tu Wong Fu has aged well or poorly? Do we think like
Is it better or worse than Priscilla?
Oh.
Well, Priscilla's like do you think I haven't rewatched Tu Wong Fu in
I don't imagine
years.
Tu Wong
Is
Fu
it
is particularly
offensive?
sensitive. Yeah, I don't imagine like it's with Wesley Snipes.
But I don't remember the
It being
cross
cruel.
dressers being cruel about themselves. Like I
Yeah.
remember like, bad guys being cruel to them.
Sure.
So like Gene Hackman in The Birdcage is supposed to like be uncomfortable,
happy.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I would assume it has aged better than we think.
All right, so we got 3 things out of this summit. Tu Wong Fu rewatch. Jaren plays 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And Crab Rangoon. Perfect.
Maybe we do need a Tu Wong Fu rewatch. I don't know.
They should make a sequel called Tu Wong Fu.
Shut no.
I almost been saying this. Anyone listening, you can't just tell me to shut up on a podcast.
Defeats the entire purpose.
Only because you are right next to me. Can I tell you to shut up? No.
You are in my house. You will shut up.
I do think, by the way, that shut up came from a genuine place of that's a really good joke. And I was like, God damn it, that's such a good joke. Shut up. Yeah. No.
Nidaram with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Nidaram. Do any horror/thriller movies come to mind that didn't work for you on a first watch, but ended up really enjoying on a rewatch?
Ooh.
Midsummer is the one for me, where
Oh.
I respected it on first watch, and then I
Okay.
revisited it, and I was like, actually, this is a work of genius. Where
Yeah.
I think the first time I was watching it, I was like, I'm way ahead of where this movie is going plot wise, which is like, spoiler, they go to visit a weird cult in Scandinavia and things do not go to plan, and it takes 2.5 hours. So I think plot wise, I was like, okay, narratively, this is fairly straightforward. It hasn't really got that many twists and turns. And I think when I rewatched it, having like, oh, it's not what the movie's doing, it's how it's doing it. It's the fact that like it does all this in long takes. The fact that it does take, instead of like the clean in and out of 90 minutes of a slasher movie, it's an extended 2.5 hour slasher movie. The fact that it hits all the beats of a slasher movie while also being shot in broad daylight without any like, killers don't like walk from behind strategically placed trees because it's all flat land around them. It is like, it is a movie that I think it took me a second watch to really go, oh, I get what it's doing, and I get like why what it's doing is kind of incredible to me. So that would be one that jumped out to me.
A movie that did take me 2 watches to love. That I went in skeptical, and I was like, before I watch this movie, we obviously we talk about this a lot. We watch a lot of movies, we play a lot of video games. We want everything we see to be good, but we are also humans who have human expectations, and knowledge of past events. When I went in to watch Freaky for the first time, that's the
body swap movie,
the horror body, the slasher body swap
Landon,
movie.
Vince Vaughn, Catherine Newton. Yeah.
I went in with my eyes rolling. I was like, this is going to be dumb. And I remember my first watch, I was like, this is pretty good. But then I rewatched it again soon afterwards. And I was like, you know what? This is very fun and clever. And they are doing things based off of the tropes of slasher movies that I think are really interesting for the genre. And so like I came out, like I went in eye rolling, came out my second watch loving, and now it is a constant recommendation.
Yeah, you kind of have to enter like on the same wavelength as the movie, and you didn't know what the wavelength was going to be the first time, I guess.
Yeah.
There was
I'll
some
say,
good,
like,
go
the
ahead,
first
Darren.
time you're watching it, you're kind of watching like Vince Vaughn, I think, a lot. Like that's the performance
Yeah.
that catches your eye. I think like the second time you're able to go, oh, actually what Newton's doing is also really impressive, but obviously less exciting to watch than Vince Vaughn plays a teenage girl. It's like it is a movie that I think had layers. Yeah, like an onion, Lauren Ober.
The big two. I guess we brought it up earlier, but growing up, 2 of my first favorite horror movies were Halloween 1 and 2.
Sure.
And then seeing Halloween 3, I was like, what is this? This isn't Michael Myers. Like what? Like this isn't
Season of the Witch.
What is this? And like,
Well, yeah, and you go, the Irish do kind of suck. Yeah.
And so, but now going back to it, I'm like, man, I wish this would have been the Halloween franchise. I wish they would have just taken it and been like, this isn't about Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. This is about Halloween.
Yes.
And every movie's gonna be a different take on that. So,
Which I believe was the original idea from
sure. And
Yeah.
then I think the first one made too much money or whatever. And
Well, the
John
third
Carpenter-
one made no money is the problem. Like the problem is that they tried it, like where Carpenter was like, okay, we'll do the first one and we'll do the cash in second one, and with the third one, I'll get my mate to direct it. And it's like that movie makes no money. Like, okay, back to Michael Myers we go, baby.
Yeah.
In terms of like movies that do tend to grow, or horror movies that do tend to grow and rewatch, I find it's the nasty ones where I find like it is exactly what Jack said, which is calibrating your expectations. Where, as you say, generally speaking, I go into a movie expecting to like a movie, and to a certain extent, expecting a movie to want me to like it. And what I will find is that like when I go in and I watch a horror movie that is particularly nasty and unpleasant and mean-spirited, and you mentioned the Halloween movies, the ones that come to mind are like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and the Halloween Kills, the second like David Gordon Green movie, which are just like really nasty passive aggressive horror movies that are about how I am a sick fuck for watching this movie. And like the first time I watched it, I'm like, hey, whoa, what did I do to you?
I don't even know you. Why are you doing this?
I'm just here because it's my job, buddy. But the second time I watch it, I'm like, okay, I know what to expect. I'm like, oh, I can see why it's doing. I can see how it's doing. I can see that every choice is oriented towards this goal. So yeah, those are the kinds of movies that I find grow on me on rewatch, are the ones that are like abrasively, unpleasantly nasty. So you can go in and go, okay, this is going to be nasty, and I can set my expectations at the right level for them.
Sometimes you just watch something and you're like, well, I was in a bad mood that day, or like, I wasn't. Yeah. That happens. Last couple super chats before we go over the other stuff we've been watching. True Mando, thank you so much for re-upping in the Green Gang. Appreciate you. Be Smart with a $2 dono. New funding goal. Darren plays 12 minutes on stream. Listen, Be Smart's donated $2, so you have to do it. I'm just saying, that's how it works.
I mean, the point to do this was while you guys were all away recording like your the Adventurous Knives stuff, and you needed me to cover stuff. It's like now I've got no sympathy. It's like
listen, you're gonna get your little Star Trek podcast in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You can do that.
It's gonna be great.
And when I come back, we're gonna 12 minutes.
I'm so excited, Dan. I'm so excited.
Marty's gonna watch all
as a reminder-
178. Sorry, Jack's gonna watch all 178 episodes of Deep Space Nine.
Probably have to start.
I'm hoping to at least get through a couple seasons. Oh yeah, no, I will.
2 weeks away.
I will be starting like today.
Okay. You just have it on in the background while you're DMing.
Yeah, at the party.
Oh,
It's
that's
like you're eating your crab rangoon. Yeah.
Yes, as a reminder, 2 weeks from today, all Star Trek, all the time.
Yes, Marty is out, so Dave is away, and so Darren and I will talk almost exclusively about Star Trek Deep Space Nine. In 2 weeks.
Which Jack has not watched a minute of.
Which I have not watched a minute of, and so I'll get a good couple seasons in, and we will dish about something that everyone tells me is their favorite. We'll see.
There you go.
And also, like, it's not to spoil it, but like, it's a show that takes a while to get good as well. So there's a very good chance you'll be like in the worst of it when we're sitting down for conversation.
I can skip seasons. You just tell me where to go.
Just give me a little viewer's guide.
Yeah.
Pure Pyro with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. Or €2 dono. Thank you so much, Pure Pyro. Which Scream movie do you guys like? Because 4 is on Tubi. I mean,
you can't go Scream 1. You can't go wrong. Scream 1 is really fun.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
I like Scream 2 as like a exercise in sequels.
Sure.
I love Scream 2 so much. There's the moment where Wes Craven pops up playing the director of a college production of it's Agamemnon, I believe. Where they're doing, and it's like, you can tell that you studied fucking English literature. I love it so much. And I like 4. 4 is also very good. Like, it's 1, 2, and 4 are like the trilogy for me.
All right.
John Arbuckle says, which one has Timothy Oliphant? That's 2, right?
It's 2, yeah. 2 is the one where they reportedly changed it because the ending leaked. I think there was a rumor going around that like the script leaked online and they made a last minute change. It's also a movie that apparently came together incredibly quickly, where like the first one releases in like 96, 97, the second one's like 97, 98, and you can tell that it was written on presumably cocaine. I don't mean written while the writer was on cocaine. I mean, it was literally like he had a pen and just the only white substance nearby was cocaine.
So many things were.
Magnolia. Yeah. And then Boo-Ray 6197. Thank you so much for a $5 donut. Detroit Become Human is a better David Cage option. Buddy cop story with Clancy Brown. I think no David Cage is the best David Cage option.
Right.
However, I do love Clancy Brown.
Right.
Who's
We
David
can
Cage?
love Clancy Brown.
Oh, David Cage is the he's a French game auteur who made that he made the first Willem Dafoe game we talked about with Elliot Page. He also did a game called Heavy Rain. He's doing his games are very
The one
much
that's
like
not very
Choose
good
Your Own
before you talked
Adventure.
about the one that was actually bad.
Sure, yeah. His theoretically, though, they're doing a big narrative-based Star Wars game called Star Wars Eclipse, but they showed one trailer of it like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's probably done.
The one story I remember, David Cage is a little infamous as far as video game circles, where his games are the artiest of the fartiest. Very story heavy, not very gameplay heavy. The one story I remember is Elliot Page being very upset because they, starred in this video game. They got their body scanned, their face scanned, and only to find out later that they modeled a fully nude character, and people,
even though the character never appears nude, or if they do, it's like above the next shot while they're like showering or something.
And so modders were able to get into the game and zoom the camera out to see a fully nude version of them when they did not sign off on that. And so the fact that the game developers made this fully nude version is creepy. Was a creepy talking point at the time.
Ultimately,
Not to
there's
indulge in
two
stereotypes
types.
about the French. Yeah.
There's two types of perverts in video game. There's the bad perverts like David Cage, and the good perverts like Hideo Kojima. You want to be a good pervert, like what are the D&D alignments like?
Neutral good, neutral bad, chaotic neutral. Yeah.
Hideo Kojima is chaotic good.
Chaotic good. I think literally we did on Windbreaker the video game developer alignment chart. I think I put Kojima as chaotic good. Yeah.
Yes. Kojima is not. He's not malicious towards anyone, but what was her name? Quiet?
Why does he need to scan all those people?
Why does his character need to be half naked while she's a sniper? And then the answer is, because she photosynthesizes.
Right. She breathes through her skin, so she has has very naked.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing I can do about
He's like,
it.
you're going to feel bad when you figure out the
right.
reason.
It's like,
I love him defending it by being like, anyone who criticized it before the game come out, you're going to play the game, and when you realize why, you're going to regret your actions. And you play the game, and you're like, no, that's a pretty dumb idea.
It's pretty dumb.
Just could have had her not photosynthesize.
Very Miyazaki talking about boobs energy there, where it's like,
incredible. Incredible super chats. Darren, what have you been watching lately? Anything to recommend to folks?
Well, I've mostly been playing Ghosts of Yoti, which is like taking up a lot of my time. But in terms of like just stuff I've been watching, I mean, one battle after another is great. You guys talked about it last week. Don't need to talk about it again. But like just a wonderful movie, like a movie that reignites my love of cinema. One of the best movies of the year, and it's incredible that we've had like this and Sinners and Weapons and like Nosferatu in Ireland and like so many great movies. Just in terms of other stuff, the Downton Abbey, the grand finale I watched for some reason, which is such
is that not done? What? Are they still making that?
They're still making it and made so much money that there's going to be an even grander finale. Like the thing about which is so fascinating about like the Downton Abbey is that like the entire show. Welcome to the Downton Abbey corner, where Darren has opinions about Downton Abbey.
That's when Jack and I are both gone.
We're going Downton. But the thing about Downton Abbey is like it's prefaced with this idea that the era is going to end, and they keep calling it things like the grand finale. And it's like you would assume that logically the way that the grand finale is going to work is it's going to be about the end of this era of British aristocracy. They are at some point going to have to sell the mansion, and they're going to have to move out, and they're going to have to accept that things have changed. And the movie is so fascinating because it steadfastly refuses to commit to any of that. It gestures most broadly in that direction, but it's like, no, everything is fine. It is like such comfort viewing, and it is so fascinating to me as, again, sorry, nobody cares about this, but like as somebody who like grew up in a culture, like we are next door to Britain, and we absorb a lot of their culture. Obviously, like the BBC, ITV do these wonderful period dramas. And generally speaking, like, period dramas are fascinating because they are like vehicles for social commentary. Like Upstairs, Downstairs is like really biting in its treatment of the dynamic between like the upper and the lower classes, where like I believe it's like As King is it Edward is visiting, and upstairs downstairs you have the servant downstairs giving birth to like the bastard child that she conceived with like the son of the family upstairs, and it's just never acknowledged. And it's like so biting, and like even in the stuff that is like nostalgic and sympathetic, it's like, yeah, but also the class structure kind of sucked, right? Thing about Downton Abbey is like it is so comforting. Like the staff and the people who employ them just like hang out with one another and like have casual conversations, and like people will be like, I need to talk to the lady of the house. It's like, oh, I want to solicit the opinion of my maid. Can she come in and join this conversation as an equal with us? It is so surreal and so strange and so disconcerting. And it is a show that is so adverse to conflict, where there are points throughout this movie where it feels like conflict might possibly break out, but it is always like diffused with a civil conversation and a polite nod. There's a moment where like one of the characters getting divorced and she's getting kicked out of like a party because I believe the Princess Anne is going to be there for some reason. And like everybody is shocked and horrified at that. And they're like, her father is like, well, if they kick you out, they'll have to kick me out as well. And she's like, no, father, you must be here when Princess Anne arrives. And he pauses and goes, you're right. And then turns around and walks back to the party that his daughter has just been kicked out of. Because you can't cause a scene. Yeah, you can't cause a scene. There's no drama to be mined here. But yeah, very disconcerting, very strange franchise, very odd movies, like very comfort washing, very casual, but like never about anything, never have any stakes, never have any tension. In terms of other stuff I watched, Play Dirty, which I don't know if you watched. It's on Amazon. It's the new Shane Black movie. It is very disconcerting. Again, has that an interesting companion piece with Downton, where like Play Dirty is written in the style of like a Shane Black movie from the 90s, like The Long Kiss Goodnight, for example, but also even, Lethal Weapon, The Last Boy Scout, where it's these characters who are like rude and abhorrent and abrasive and mean and nasty and say and do terrible things to one another in like gritty kind of crime-filled ways. The things that you like about a Shane Black movie, the things that make like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang such a delight to watch, or even The Nice Guys like fun to watch. But weirdly, it has that kind of, again, that very shiny streaming aesthetic where there are so many drone shots, and every metal object that appears in frame has been polished to within an inch of its life. And even though it is clearly shot on real locations, it looks like it may as well have been rendered inside a computer. So you have this really odd dissonance where textually it feels like a throwback to a kind of a 90s gritty kind of like noir movie. But texturally, when you're watching it, it looks like the dozen other Mark Wahlberg movies he's made for Netflix over the past like 14 months, which is really frustrating.
I feel like I've gotten that like cilantro gene to Mark Wahlberg now. Like I love Boogie Nights, and I think he's great in The Departed. But like when I heard like, oh, a new Shane Black movie, I'm like, hell yeah! And then it's like starring Mark Wahlberg. I'm like, well, what about like Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe and Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer? What if you bring them back? It's just a bummer. I'm glad he's making money and like working, but not Mark Wahlberg. I don't care if he's making money or working.
Yeah, fair.
I deeply do not care if he's making money or working. But Shane Black, yeah, it's a bummer.
Have you guys seen The Smashing Machine yet?
I have not. No,
I have not.
No,
I have that gene for Dwayne Johnson.
It is. Again, The Smashing Machine is such a strange movie because it's these two contradictory impulses at odds with one another. It's the thing about like Benny Sadfi, where like Benny Sadfi is on the one hand like one half of the Sadfi brothers, one of the great like independent American filmmakers. Like they made, obviously we mentioned like Good Time, Uncut Gems, these kind of gritty, urban, grounded, visceral, tense, uncomfortable like movies that are very like edge of your seat, very sweaty, very like meant to be uncomfortable. Yeah. But like there's also, as the brothers have split for whatever reason it is, and there is some suggestion that it is like a personal disagreement between the pair of them, but like for whatever reason they split, when they've split, you've had like Benny go off, and Benny also seems to have this weird like mainstream impulse within him where he will do stuff like The Curse, which is like weird and wonderful and abstract and like out there as anything he did with Josh. But he will also like appear in the Christopher Nolan movie, one of the biggest blockbusters of the year. He'll do like Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler, for example. Like, and the thing about like The Smashing Machine that is so interesting is that it is both of those impulses at odds with one another, where it is shot in the style of something like Good Time, or something like we mentioned, the Uncut Gems, where it's like intense close-ups, handheld shots, long takes, naturalistic dialogue, long pauses. We're emphasizing the silence, we're emphasizing the space. We want these scenes to feel uncomfortable. Like, it doesn't look like a conventional sports movie. But if you look at the structure of the movie, it hits absolutely every beat that you expect a conventional sports movie to be in the bigger, larger arc of the story that it's telling. So you have this kind of like, it's like, what if Rocky was shot like Raging Bull, which is such a weird mismatch of tones that don't fit. There is a moment. There's a moment that like explains this perfectly, which is the moment where Mark Kerr is becoming addicted to opioids, right? He's succumbing to addiction, and it is shot as he is wandering through the house looking for a dose of the drug that he needs, and it is shot handheld, intense close-up, long take following through the house from room to room, and you're like, this is really impressive, this is really guerrilla filmmaking. But as he is searching for the drug that he has become addicted to, playing on the soundtrack from his wife's bedroom, loud enough that it is basically the soundtrack to the film, is an 80s pop song about, oh, you take me more and more, you take me all the time. And it's like, I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards. But that's the thing where it is, on the one hand, so interesting in how individual scenes are shot, but the story itself is like, you know where it's going, like down to the ending, which is lifted directly from Goodfellas. You know exactly what beats it's going to hit. And it's really a shame because it is interesting in some respects. And I think Johnson is very good. Like, Johnson, when he acts, when he puts himself in the hands of a director who he trusts, like, God forbid, Michael Bay in Pain and Gain, but also, you mentioned, like, Southland Tales with Richard Kelly, he can do great work. And I think he's very good here. But the movie itself is, like, really frustratingly pedestrian. I'm all in on Marty Supreme. Who would have called that at this stage?
Wow.
I'm really excited. Ping pong movie.
Ping pong.
3-hour ping pong movie about a boy named Marty.
3 hours. One paddle after another.
Timothy Chalamet has a little romantic rendezvous with Gwyneth Paltrow.
3 hours of Timothy Chalamet?
And Gwyneth Paltrow and ping pong.
I'm out.
And Chalamet announced the publicity tour like he was fecking Kanye. Like, I love that. Like, his career has phases like he's Taylor Swift now, where it was like he released a video of himself walking around with people with big red ping pong ball heads. And I'm like, I kind of admire how committed you are to this, Timothy. I like how badly you want it.
Training to play ping pong for this movie on set of every other movie for like 7 years. So like apparently they just like brought a ping pong table to the desert for Dune. Like in between shots, he's like practicing ping pong.
I do love the I'm not
of here. Zendaya being like, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" It's like, "No, I gotta play some. I gotta get my pong in."
Jack, would you rather watch Balls of Fury? What was the name of the other ping pong movie? Was that the name of the Christopher
Balls
Walken?
of Fury is the Christopher Walken, Dan Foley. It's not Dan Foley.
I like that. I look over it and I say, when I say Balls of Fury, Jesse's like, yeah, that's Balls of Fury.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't want to watch either. I don't want to watch either of these movies.
Well, we're watching.
The only ping pong that should be in movies is a tiny part of a larger montage a la Forrest Gump.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
And then I watched and saw Roofman. I actually really liked Roofman, which is obviously...
I'm excited to see Roofman.
Roofman's very good. It's the Kirsten Dunst, Channing Tatum movie from the director of like The Place Beyond the Pines and Blue Valentine, stuff like that. I like this movie a lot.
I think it's his name.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever said it out loud, and I probably fucked up that last name. I probably got Derek right.
That is why I was like, it's the guy who directed The Place Beyond the Pines, because like people are like, how does Darren pronounce Utah in the video today? And it's like, I'm not even gonna try this multi-syllabic like name. But Roofman's great. It's based on a true story. It's about a guy who escapes prison and like lives in a Toys R Us and manages to like form a life outside it while sleeping at night in a Toys R Us while evading the law. It is the kind of movie that they do not make anymore to indulge in cliches, but it is this kind of character study comedy drama that is incredibly movie star driven, where it is the movie does not work if Channing Tatum is not intensely likable despite being an awful human being. Where it's like, this guy is like toxic to everything and everyone that he touches, but I still would kind of like to hang out with him. He seems like a good hang, which is like exactly what the movie needs. It's well made. It's got this incredible supporting cast, like Lakeith Steinfeld, who is also in the Shane Black movie that we mentioned there as well. It's got like Peter Dinklage is in there as the manager. He's incredible. Again, Dinklage really killing it this year with that and The Toxic Avenger. Even like Juno Temple pops up as like Lakeith Stanfield's kind of like hairstyle girlfriend. Ben Mendelsohn is in here for like 10 minutes as a local pastor who doesn't do anything creepy, and it's just great. It's just,
does he mumble?
Really good.
Does he mumble?
He does mutter a little bit. He does his American accent, and it's like, I appreciate the effort, Ben.
Everyone all right? I heard you're living above the Toys R Us. That was with Ben Mendelsohn.
Ham-
That was a limited Ben Mendelsohn I have.
Haven't been talking to the cops, there, have you, Roofman?
I haven't been talking to the cops now, have you? Incredible.
Yeah. And then just in terms of other stuff, Good Boy. Oh, After the Hunt as well, which is not very good.
That's a bummer.
I will shout out to my sister who came to the premiere of that with me, and halfway through the movie was like, I feel like Michael Stuhlbarg is in a different and better movie than everybody else in this film. Every movie
Sure.
needs like Michael Stuhlbarg. It is
Yep.
like such a weird film because it is like we're in post Me Too cinema, which is really fascinating. Where I think I described like After the Hunt as terrible, where it is the story of like it's a college like sex abuse kind of movie where there's allegations about whether or not a line was crossed between a college professor and a young student, and the like professor who's seeking tenure who's put in the middle between them, played by Julia Roberts. And it is like very tellingly a 51-year-old Italian man's take on cancel culture with all that implies. I'm
sure there's a lot of nuance to it.
I mean,
50-year-old Italians are known for their nuanced opinions.
Absolutely.
What you really want is a middle-aged European person talking about like cancel culture and Me Too.
Yeah.
But like what I will say is it's not great. It's tonally all over the place. It feels incredibly broad and like incredibly non-specific. It doesn't have like the thing that makes Tar so compelling is that Tar is very specific and very aware of what it's doing and very aware of what it's engaging with. So like Tar knows that it's playing with fire and big ideas. And the thing about like After the Hunt is like After the Hunt is clearly somebody watched Tar and was like, I can do that. Turns out maybe you can't. Maybe it's not as easy as Tar made it look.
And they like put together like an incredible cast and everything. So it's like, okay,
Barry, Andrew
on paper, this
Garfield,
thing
Michael
could,
Stuhlbarg.
yeah. This thing could work, but
It's just crazy that like a movie with such an interesting message. Actually, you should have a strong message if you're going to make a movie like that. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, crazy how that works.
Like I would love to make a movie about a real hot button issue, but not really say anything about it because I don't want to piss anybody off. So,
But like it is interesting because like part of me watching it is like, this also feels like Ludo Guadagnino, who is a 51-year-old like Italian filmmaker who made like canonized classics that are universally beloved, got really angry about some of the pushback on like Call Me by Your Name, one of his most successful movies, nominated for Best Picture, by the way, because there is a scene in After the Hunt that feels very consciously in conversation with a scene in Call Me by Your Name, where Michael Stuhlbarg is talking to a character who had an affair with a much older man during their youth, and that relationship, what it means because they were technically underage when it happened. And it does feel like Guadagnino's like, some of those critics said some mean things about my young like boy man romance. I'm gonna really grind the axe, and it is so weird because the movie is kind of aware of how out of time it is. This movie is set, I believe, in early 2020, doing the math, because like it features a 5-year later coda that seems to take place in 2025 with the Los Angeles forest fires in the background. And it is so strange because it is about like a cultural moment that has passed. Like it is an old man shaking his fist at the sky, but the cloud is so far over the horizon you can't see it anymore. It is a very strange movie. A very, very strange movie.
Yeah, I know that one leading up to release had a bunch of Oscar buzz, and then it feels like everyone who saw it was like, ugh.
Just disappeared from conversation. It's like when you're releasing like your big Oscar buzz movie in the middle of October, it's like, it's not Hamnet. It doesn't seem to have the Hamnet energy.
Yeah.
And then just very quickly, Good Boy, which I loved. I loved Good Boy so much.
Yes, I talked about that last time too. I thought that dog was so good. I'd vote for that dog for public office.
I mean, you saw that dog wrote a letter campaigning to be admitted to the Oscars, right?
Get the fuck out of here. The dog knows how to write. The dog's got to get an Oscar if he knows how to write.
There's no rules that says dog can't win an Oscar.
If they institute those rules, I'm done.
There's no rules.
The Air Bud rules. I like that. The Air Bud Oscar rules. But again, an incredible film, like just in terms of technical craft, like, and obviously, like, look, it's a cool shove effect where you're putting the dog in conversation with images, and you're trusting the audience to like dogs enough to like read sympathetically into, oh no, don't hurt that dog. Oh no, that dog is concerned. Oh no, that dog is worried. Oh no, that dog is happy. But like just the technical craft of being, the dog has to look this way at this moment and has to move that way at that moment. I'm like, that is incredibly challenging to imagine how they, as somebody who like has owned several dogs who admittedly are not stage trained dogs, and I'm not a professional stage dog trainer, but I'm like, it must be really difficult to get a dog to move through 3 cues in a single like blocking shot. But I also found it like weirdly moving. I will admit I am a dog person. I'm very sympathetic to dogs. I am an easy mark for this, but like the movie is kind of like about the idea of being powerless and like watching somebody you love slip away. It's a movie told from the perspective of a dog, and it's remarkable because like we mentioned all the horror movies that we love so much. It hits all of the beats of the horror movies, and in fact, one of the reasons why it works is because you as an audience member know how horror movies work. So if you just put a dog in a particular shot, an audience member can intuit what is happening, where it's like, oh, that dog isn't real. That is a ghost dog that he is following deeper into the house. The movie doesn't have to have exposition saying, hey, that's a ghost dog over there. It's like, no, I recognize how this shot is framed and blocked. The dog that is in the foreground is not real, and he is following it, even though it's just a dog that's moving through the shot. But the way that it's framed, the way that the movie is built to that moment, and it's incredible because it manages to do that with a minimum amount of exposition. From a perspective of the dog, the camera is always at like the dog's eye perspective, which is remarkable, and with no real human characters. Like there are humans in the movie, but you don't see the face of the male lead of the movie, Todd. His face is entirely obscured because you're rooting for the dog. It is like a really impressive like horror movie, and it reminds me a lot of like I think Marty's mentioned it, like Strange Darling or like In a Violent Nature. This kind of really experimental approach to slasher movies that we've seen in recent years, which I love so much. Which is just like I think it's the third highest grossing IFC release behind In a Violent Nature and like Late Night with the Devil. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of love that like horror movies are like this playful now.
So that dog is the writer director's dog.
Yeah.
Is that nepotism? Casting your own dog, is that nepotism?
100%.
He's a Nepo pup?
Nepo dog.
He's a Nepo dog, but he seems to be the good kind of Nepo dog.
And as we've said, we're in like the modern era of good Nepo babies plus Nepo dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, Nepo fathers is wait.
I was gonna say,
for Anemone, is that a Nepo dad? Is that a Nepo father?
I did see that. It's very nice of like Ronan Day-Lewis to cast his aging old dad in a movie. Very nice of him to extend an invitation for his dad to be in his movie. Obviously that's the. Have you seen this?
I've not seen this. No, I've seen like no movies in the last week. I'm a failure.
Yeah, you are also like working like in a different city, working on like a TV show. But like, yeah, it's not good. It's very bad. And like, what's really weird about it is bad in the way like it's bad in the way that a lot of like debut movies are. It's the first feature film from a young director called Ronan Day-Lewis, and it is very insistent on itself. It kind of like gets lost in the space, I think, between like profundity and just like laziness. There are a lot of like static slow zooms on like older actors staring into middle distance, contemplating the universe. There's a lot of this kind of indulgent monologues where the main character like gives an extended 7-minute rant about the time that he defecated on a priest, including the sentence, "I manured him." And like, as somebody who goes to film festivals, as somebody who watches a lot of movies, that's par for the course. A lot of much better directors have made much worse films, particularly early in their career. It is all forgivable. You're learning how to do this thing. It's new. Everybody, there's a learning curve for it. But on the other hand, you have called in the favor of asking your dad, one of the greatest actors to ever perform on screen, to step in and do you this solid of like being in this movie. So it's like a Daniel Day-Lewis movie, which means it's an event. It's like maybe the only Daniel Day-Lewis movie we are going to get this decade, possibly. And it's like, so as a result, there's this weird, strange imbalance where it's like, I know that like there is no alternative universe where like Daniel Day-Lewis does one battle after another instead of this, or there's no universe where he like volunteers to be in, I don't know, Sinners or something like that. There's no universe where Daniel Day-Lewis turns something down to make this movie. It was like this or like cobble shoes or whatever his hobby is at the moment, right? But I'm still watching it going, this is such an incredible waste of like one of the greatest talents to ever do it. Which is like,
maybe wait until movie 2 or 3 before you call in the dad favor.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like honestly, I would kind of like it if they became like a recurring theme where like Daniel Day-Lewis just made his son's family movies. Like I think it's not like one of the big discourses around this has been the idea of legacy and the idea of like profile, whether or not like Daniel Day-Lewis is soiling his legacy by starring in a crap movie that nobody likes. And it's like, nonsense. First of all, Brando. Have you heard of Marlon Brando? Maybe the greatest actor.
Also, Daniel Day-Lewis was in like 9, that awful musical. Like, no, it's he's one of the greatest actors of all time, but he's also made some bad movies. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, none of his eulogies are going to open with "Star of Nome." Like, but like, it is you can't even with that kind of sympathetic reading, you just can't shake it. You can't shake the feeling of being like, this is like a Maserati sports car being driven around a go-kart course. It feels wrong. This is a thoroughbred stallion like giving kiddie rides in the park. It just feels so wrong watching it in a way that isn't fair for me as a critic to say about the movie, which is very disconcerting.
Also, I don't know, just a dad doing a solid for his kid. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good enough
It
reason.
is.
That's better than like you're tarnishing your legacy. It's like, well, I'm also a good dad.
Yeah.
All right. That trumps it.
Yeah, they got to hang out together. Like, I imagine they had fun conversations. They're like, so how hard do you want me to hit the word manure? And it's like, well, Dad, I have some thoughts on that. Yeah.
But also, no matter what I say, you should just do what you're doing because you're the greatest actor ever.
Right.
Oh boy.
Can you imagine giving notes to your dad being Daniel Taylor? It's like, I feel like you could rein that in a bit, Dad.
Yeah. Well, I always think about that. Like Bob Dylan's son, Jacob Dylan, was a frontman of the band The Wallflowers in the 90s. And I think there was like an SNL bit about how like as like a teenager, he'd be rocking out in the garage with his friends and his dad would come out and be like, turn down your music. And he'd be like, Dad, you don't understand my music. And then he'd be like, no, son, I invented your music. Turn that fucking thing down. Yeah. So yeah, that's always tough. Jack, have you watched anything?
I have watched some movies.
All right, no need to brag. let's dial it down a little bit.
178 episodes of Deep Space Nine.
I've watched
Next week, not now.
No, we won't get into Star Trek talk yet. There's one I want to talk about, which also is my To Be Fair. Which is I have a friend and we have started a little movie pen pal relationship in which we send each other movies that we think we will enjoy. Because I have an incredible blind spot for older movies. Anything, I mean, basically pre-1980.
I was gonna say to you, is that old? Is old like before you were born? Is old just like anything before the 80s?
Old is before I was born. The further we get before 1980, the bigger blind spot I have. I never went to film school where a lot of people watch these movies. I had a lot of friends and family who went to film school, and so I got a lot of secondhand knowledge. Also, I have a short attention span, and a lot of older movies are boring as fuck.
Jack's like, yeah, I could crack out Citizen Kane. Yeah.
Citizen Kane is so fucking boring.
We've been there.
But the montage, the Dutch angles.
Yeah, the way they push the camera in from a low angle.
No, it's great. It popularized our concept of modern cinematography and helped elevate movies as an art form. Is still boring as fuck.
Sure, you build a fucking trench, give him a fucking Oscar. Yeah.
That's my hot take on Citizen Kane.
Oh, you're 26 years old. Boo frickin' who?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
That's probably half your life expectancy back then, right? I don't know why you're a New Jersey shoresman, by the way.
Always.
Yeah.
You always got to be like an iron worker, just being like, oh, they want me to watch Art Nouveau? Come on, I get it.
Too busy cat calling over here on the construction site.
Hey, sweetheart, have you seen Metropolis?
How'd you like to see Metropolis?
I like the idea of someone who's purely sexually harassing based on like silent film.
Yes, exactly.
He contains hidden depths.
So anyways, what have you been watching?
No, the bit is more important than what I've been watching. And so as part of the pen palness, I got sent what might become a Christmas staple for me, which is 1960s The Apartment.
Oh my God, an incredible movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking fun. Hold on, I had a tab because so I could tell you the actors who in it. So Jack Lemmon is the star. Shirley MacLaine is the love interest. It is a wonderful, simple, like also how fucking horny this movie is.
Incredibly horny.
For a 1960s black and white feature. Jack Lemmon has a nice apartment in New York. And all of his higher ups at his insurance company want to borrow his apartment to have affairs on their wives. Mm-hmm. And so, they have to drive in from further away, and they say, hey, can I? And so he has a little calendar so he can like rent out his apartment to all of his bosses so they can very openly cheat on their wives. It is a fun. That's the premise.
Yeah.
And he's hoping to kind of utilize that, leverage that to get higher up in the company. Ends up kind of flirting with an elevator girl who is also kind of involved with one of the higher ups who wants to rent his
Fred McMurray,
apartment.
yeah.
And it is romantic, it is funny, and it is heartbreaking in all the best ways. To where, yes, this will become a like December cold season movie staple for me. Absolutely.
It is set around Christmas and New Year, isn't it? If I remember correctly.
Yeah,
It is set
yeah.
around Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, it's actually, I was very late. I watched this one for the first time like 2 years ago, 2 Christmases ago too, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is great!"
Yeah.
I'm even more so than Halloween and December. I watch a shit ton of Christmas movies and I rewatch them, and this was one of those where I was like, "How was this been a blind spot for so long?"
And
It's because old movies are bad.
Yeah.
Old movies are bad.
Just
Black and white. There's
Citizen
other
Kane,
colors.
yeah,
To use.
old movies in general, like there's a different pace to older movies. This one actually feels relatively
It's very
modern in
modern.
its pacing.
Yeah.
But no, the apartment. I returned the copy that I got. Immediately bought it on a nice 4K Blu-ray. Just because this is going to be a staple for me. The apartment, but also the apartment is available to watch for free on Tubi. That's To Be Fair. That's our To Be Fair segment. Go watch The Apartment. It's free. It's great.
Also,
We should
if
be clear,
you
not
want-
product placement. I think we have to legally say this is not like paid endorsement.
Correct. Though we would like to be officially endorsed by Tubi, they have not only refused to answer my emails, they have gotten rid of the contact me button on their website, so we can no longer contact them. So our To Be Fair segment, in which I recommend a movie on Tubi, is not sponsored.
I think I mentioned this, but I do like occasionally they'll send me because they have Tubi originals and stuff like that as a critic.
Yeah.
And I'll email them back and be like, hey, we do a segment. It's called To Be Fair. Never get a reply to that email. Not even like that's interesting. Like just a dead. It's like when the PR person is just like, no, we're out. We're done. The Apartment's incredible. I do want to shout out, is it the last black and white film to win the Best Picture Oscar before The Artist or before Schindler's List?
Ooh,
is that
Schindler's List has the red in it.
Got a little bit of color.
Like,
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't realize that.
Oh,
and it's incredible because, as you say, like it is such a modern movie. You watch it today, and it is about things that are modern. It's very frank about sex, for example. But it's weird to think that it's at the end of this classical period of Hollywood. And again, if you are somebody who is wary of like older movies, Billy Wilder is just like such a great director to get into because his movies are, while they skirt the edge of the Hays Code, they are very much like skirting the edge of the Hays Code, where you have like Some Like It Hot is like a really good sex comedy that still watches very well. Like obviously things like you mentioned, Fred McMurray plays the like boss in there. He's in Double Indemnity, which is fantastic. Sunset Boulevard is incredible. Like, you can't go wrong with mid-century Wilder. But yeah, The Apartment is like one of the best movies ever made. It's incredible.
Honestly, and again, that's a little personal bias for older movies being slow, but so modern, so funny, and it's just like, and like it has Jack Lemmon has the biggest aw shucks energy ever to be captured on film, and it's absolutely delightful.
And it's also small joke. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Small joke I really like is like it has this kind of, because we talk about like how modern media and how film is anxious about streaming and stuff. One of my favorite little jokes in The Apartment is about like TV. It's like 1960 and like film directors are really angry at TV because there's this segment where he gets a TV dinner and he's sitting down to watch, I believe it's a previous Billy Wilder movie, but they keep interrupting it with commercials. And it is so great to watch now because it is so clearly like the version of like the director shaking his fist at like streaming, but with television, where it's like, can you believe they air commercials during my movie?
And you can watch it on TV with ads.
With ads, free with ads.
Yeah. It's also just a good, like, I don't know, it's nice to watch a movie and kind of take something from it that you can like use in everyday life.
Yeah.
Like if you want to get a promotion at work, go up to your boss and say, hey, if you want to cheat on your wife, you can fuck in my bed. Like it works.
It works.
It works. 9 out of 10 times it works. The 10th time they'll call security on
You
you.
saying that while you're staying in one of your coworkers' houses is maybe a little bit uncomfortable.
You know what? Sometimes art imitates life.
Sometimes no, but it
like
like
the fact that you can also glance sideways at Jack when you say that as well.
Hey, I'm not staying in Jack's house. I'm staying at another friend's house. I'm staying elsewhere.
No, but it's also like it's an older coming of age story where it's it is like it has these basic themes about like kind of being true to yourself and speaking up for yourself when you want to, and it's just delightful. Everybody, as soon as October is over, you go watch yourself The Apartment.
You go watch it Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah.
And then The Apartment.
And then The Apartment.
That's the perfect one.
And Nightmare Before Christmas, which is like
and
perfectly
Nightmare
in
Before
that
Christmas and Play 12 Minutes.
Oh.
Did you have anything else?
No, that's I'm sure I watched other things. I just don't remember what they are.
The one thing I wanted to give another shout out to, because I talked about it a few episodes ago, but it wrapped up its season, was Task on HBO. Darren, did you get a chance to watch Task, or have you watched?
I have
Task?
not mastered any task yet. It's on my list of things to see. I didn't get screens for it. I've been watching
It's
The Chair Company,
wonderful.
which is great, but Task.
Yeah,
looks
The Chair
incredible.
Company is really funny. Tim Robinson can do no wrong in my mind.
Yeah.
But Task just wrapped up its I believe 7-episode season. It was kind of described as like Heat set in like rural Philadelphia, like rural outside the city of Philadelphia. But it just an incredible. It doesn't. It's so smart in that it is a show about two down on their luck guys who are robbing stash houses from these biker gangs, and one of the robberies goes awry, and a bunch of people end up dead. And so it's about the bikers, the robbers, and the task force led by Mark Ruffalo trying to solve this whole thing. But the camera, we kind of spend equal time with all parties, and the camera doesn't judge. It's not like the good guys and the bad guys. It's kind of like Heat. That's what it's like, setting up where like everyone gets ample time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't dwell on mysteries. It's not trying to like magic box anything or like pull a fast one on you. I just think it's a really like beautiful, contemplative crime show about the people. And it's a cliche at this point, but such an incredible sense of place of this like rural Pennsylvania. You could tell this is where the creator Brad Inglesby is from, and so it has such a like it'd be like if someone from Milwaukee made a show about Milwaukee, and you're like, oh, this feels so accurate to what a Milwaukee bar would feel like, or to what like a character would be eating, or how they'd be talking, or what a relationship would be like. But I love this.
The fact that you said it's like Heat without any condemnation is the biggest selling point.
I love it, and it's really great. Just like incredible performances, top to bottom, and only 7 episodes. So
Okay,
that's good
I
stuff.
promise I'll go see it, Marty. No need to take me to task.
He did it. He fucking did it. I can't believe it. He's all the way in Ireland and he did it. He's so far away. Wonderful. Before wrapping up, Sussy Guru with a €10 dono. Thank you so much, Sussy Guru. Going back to, I believe, spooky recommendations. How about the East German series Spuk unterm Reichenstad, where a few ghost train ride characters given life through foul magic go on a sightseeing tour to witness the greatness of communism.
Ooh.
I had to copy and paste to make sure this was real, and it is.
Oh.
And let me tell you, it looks delightful. And they look like
More
little
propaganda
ghouls.
should figure horror characters.
Look at them; they're little ghouls, and this guy's got a bunch of like snot coming out of his nose. I don't know what's going on in this thing, but
That looks terrifying.
I'm gonna watch it.
That looks absolutely
But
terrifying.
I do love that they still learn the value of communism. Like, it has to be wholesome and reassuring at the end. It's like, what if Dracula, but at the end he learns capitalism is the best form of business.
Also, the Wikipedia page is just in German. I was trying to learn more about the movie, but I can't.
No. Gotta learn
Just in German.
Yeah.
If only there
I mean,
was some
I knew-
sort of like Google device that could translate it.
If only I spent 12 years of my life learning German and have forgotten all of it. I've done enough to be able to moderately pronounce some German words. So that's
That's all you need.
Beautiful.
That's all you need.
probably
and
not
Sir John
germane.
Arbuckle. Sir John Arbuckle, thank you so much for a €2 dono. Super chat test for Trek. Name your favorite ghost movies. Earlier this year, Possessed? What was the Soderbergh movie?
Oh, the Soderbergh one, yeah, Possession, which is just
Possession.
incredible. The one shot from the
Soderbergh
perspective
ghost
of the
movie.
goat.
We talked about
It's
it.
not Possession.
Oh,
It's not Possession.
But it's not. No, Possession's also the other movie about the lady who wows out.
Possession's about the crazy lady.
You can have 2 movies called Possession. It's fine.
This is
Possessor?
Oh, hold on, wait. I don't want
Possessor is the one with Andrea Riseborough, directed by Baby Cronenberg, right?
There's a babe presence.
Present.
Presence.
I just knew it wasn't Possession.
We're
I was like,
professional podcasters.
Can we also refer? I like referring to Brandon Cronenberg as a baby Cronenberg, like a little Gaga Goo Goo's directing
Like
a movie when it's just a
crawled
full-grown
out of
man.
his chest. Yeah.
Uh,
Like David
Presence
just like
is a-
rolls his eyes back and
Yeah.
Brandon emerges.
is a wonderful ghost movie.
yeah.
Here's the reality is I think the best ghost movie is actually Netflix's The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, that's great.
Very good.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the best ghost movie
Love
ever.
a bent neck lady popping up.
Fucking hell, that
Yeah.
like it's hard for me to think of ghost properties without. I mean, even that or
Yeah. Bly Manor.
We talked about a
Bly
ghost,
Manor,
Oh,
yeah.
And we've also, I think we've talked about a ghost story before. The Casey Affleck, Rooney
The
Mara
pie eating movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, famously, she eats an entire pie in one shot,
Yeah.
and because she's grieving, and when you grieve, you eat pie.
Gonna throw Sixth Sense out there, just because I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that is
Oh
like,
fuck. Oh
that
shit.
gets
Yeah, it's
somewhat
great.
overshadowed by like its twist. There's a tendency to talk about it as a movie with the twist in it, but I think it is
Yeah.
rewatching it, like it holds up really well. It's a really great meditation on like grief
Mhm.
and loss and melancholy
Yeah.
and everything you want a ghost story to be.
I
We
do
bury our
forget
ghosts
that
alive.
is a ghost story. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is, it's about ghosts.
It literally sees dead people like,
Yeah, yeah, ghosts are
walking around like regular people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to ghosts.
I think like a lot of people bring up Poltergeist. I don't think it's that great. I don't think it's that great. I also didn't watch it when I was younger, so I wasn't scarred by it.
Oh yeah, I just remember being scared by it as a kid.
Yeah.
and I rewatched it. As
I mean,
an adult.
Sam Rockwell has made better movies, right?
So yeah, no. We got 2 series and 2 movies. What do you need? What else do you need?
There's only ghost movies ever
No,
made.
no more ghosts.
There's no more ghost movies.
Also, Ghosted.
Yeah.
The TV shows, both
Yeah.
the British and American version.
Oh, I like that.
Those
I've
are
never,
fun.
I've never watched those. I feel like it was some HBO or Peacock or Paramount is always like trying to get me to watch it.
They're very fun.
I'm like, I'm watching New Girl. I can't watch anything else. I want to see what happens with Jess and the gang.
They're very fun.
Yeah.
Ghosted. is
I bought Paramount Plus for Yellowstone, and that's the only reason I'm here.
Need more Sheridan.
Is Kevin Costner a ghost? Oh, they'll fuck off.
This is like Kevin. I just read a news story. Kevin Costner was so upset at an article about Hollywood Reporter that he started searching for sunken treasure. And I didn't read the article. I read the headline. And I'm like, what? Probably if reading the article would have helped things, but I saw the headline after being upset by a Hollywood Reporter article. Kevin Costner has now turned to spelunking for buried treasure.
This is how like James Cameron deals with criticism, right? By the way, did you see that that wonderful like the redacted commentary from the submarine trial where it's like they try to preserve the anonymity of the witnesses and it's like
It was
so the
clearly James Cameron.
yeah no like the opening line of the witness testimony is you may have watched my movie Titanic.
Wow, who could it be? It could be anyone.
It could be anybody. Yeah.
It could be any of 3 people, yes, who have made a Titanic.
Oh, that's really good.
Kate Winslet being drafted in like as an expert on submersibles. Yeah.
And
Could
then
Leo
finally-
have survived on the door, Kate? That's the question.
That's the big
And
question.
they've said no. It's been debunked. And then double the fingers. Thank you so much for the €5 dono. Wirklich, Marty, 12 Jahre und du sprichst klein Vermilchen Deutscher, der Sprache Goethe und Einstein, ich bin am Boden zerstört.
Great.
I might have just like said a hate crime in German, and if I did, I apologize.
I was about to say that scanned pretty clearly to me, which is a very bad sign for you, Marty.
No.
That's how I would have read those words.
Listen, I said I took 12 years of it. I didn't say I did good in any of the 12 years. I just said I took it.
Yeah.
And then King Dad, thank you so much for a $5 dono. It could have been anybody, but Redacted also mentioned that the other movie, The Abyss. Could have been anyone.
Could have
who-
been anyone. Could have been anyone.
Now, if you excuse me, I need to get back to directing 7 Avatar films. Okay, this is probably James Cameron at this point. Incredible. I think we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
We absolutely did it. Darren, what do you have going on? What should folks check out? Obviously, your newest episode of The Backdrop is live now.
Yes, we have inexplicably done like 4 consecutive feature-length episodes of The Backdrop. The next one will be a manageable length, I absolutely promise. But yeah, very, very proud of these. So we did, in very quick succession, a half hour on The Conjuring, 20 minutes of Jimmy Kimmel, a half hour on James Gunn and Peacemaker, and today a half hour on like Tron Ares and Empty Blockbusters. And I'm very proud of those episodes. I think they're big, expansive kind of video essays that I hope are like easy to watch and easy to follow along with. I had a really great time editing it. Thanks to Jesse for like guiding me towards making them legible and making them like parsable. So huge shout out there. But yeah, just I hope people enjoy it. So if you want to check some stuff out there, I'm also like writing at the weekend. So like last weekend I wrote about like Good Boy, and I also wrote about Black Phone 2. Two movies. I love Good Boy, and I respect like Black Phone 2 more than I like Black Phone 2. I kind of admire what it's doing more than I like appreciate its success in doing that. And then this weekend, I think obviously I'm writing about like the Gen V season finale, writing about like the kind of the strange campus politics of that and its kind of like 1960s roots. And then probably talking, I guess, maybe I'm seeing Shelby Oaks on Thursday, I guess, or the remastered like 4K version of The Descent. So I'll probably write about one of those. I may write about how Hand That Rocks the Cradle is a masterpiece, and how it solved world hunger. Yeah, it didn't save Disney Plus. It saved the world, Marty.
Wow, the world.
Yeah, the world. I feel like even jokingly, I'm skirting very close to breaching an embargo. So, but yeah, so I won't be writing about the Hand That Rocked the Cradle. But yes.
Yeah, you got to save it for the Star Trek episode.
Yeah,
that's it exactly.
Jack.
Obviously, we won't be live a ton because we are here filming season 5 of Adventure is Nigh. It can be confirmed for any Adventures Nigh heads because I read it this morning and I haven't checked Slack since, so I'm assuming it is 100% confirmed that next week the Balatro episode, the Balatro one shot of Adventures Nigh is finally coming out.
I hope so. That'd be great.
I am confirming it.
You can confirm it whether it comes out. No, this one won't be. This is just a one shot that Jack filmed with Yahtzee and Jenna.
Yeah,
but there will be. We do have news on the Blu-rays.
We do have news on the Blu-rays
coming soon.
No, this is a one shot episode. New characters, new setting. It's working on the internet stuff because we've had this wrapped now for a long time, and I'm so excited for people to see it. But obviously, we have other shows coming out. We have other videos coming out. We want to make sure we have content for while we can't make new content while we make this content. So, but theoretically, that should be out. We are going to do a group live stream. We're going to play the Red Dragon in 10. You probably saw that ad at the start of the podcast, but we will be playing live on one day. We believe it's the 24th.
Most likely be Friday. Yeah.
Friday, the 24th. We're going to be playing that game live. So that'll be a really fun live stream here on the set.
You're all in.
Baby, we're all in, and that's what and we're making Adventures Nigh season 5.
Yes, you're making Adventures Nigh season 5. We will be back Thursday evening. We'll be doing an in-person Firelink because Nick and Casey will be here. Okay. And then next week on Monday at the normal time, we'll be doing an in-person Windbreaker because Jay and Yahtzee are also here. And then I think over the weekend, I believe on Sunday, our plan is to do our Phoenix Tier hangout for the month. We're still figuring out what it's going to be. Bunch of us hanging out per usual. Yeah, we kind of want to do something different than just watch a movie since we're in person. What can we do with that? So we have some ideas.
Live theater experience.
Live theater experience, exactly. Yeah, it's a choose your own adventure. Everyone can get out their little device.
Yeah. We just wire people up and follow them around.
Yeah, exactly. Seems perfectly normal. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone who watched live, listening on your podcast service of choice, and of course everyone who donated super chats, and most of all those patrons.
Yeah,
we appreciate each and every one of you. So, for Eric and Jesse and Darren and Jack and Marty, this was the Rewind episode number 32. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Halloween season, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.